Board 4 Business License Permits Committee. We have hybrid meetings. We have a hybrid policy. You can find that on our website. Board members are expected to be attend meetings live in person, unless they have this particular health reason that they can't attend and they're then online. We do a quorum by counting the people present. Okay. Members of the public can be here and you just about, I think, taken up every seat. So all the rest, anybody else who arrives has to be online.
It would kick you out because you're not.
Yeah, well, there's one more seat over there.
Yeah.
And there's an unoccupied seat here, okay? Members, board members who are online, we suggest strongly, we insist that they have their video on. So we know who's there, even though it has a name and the voice may sound familiar, we want to see the face. And like all meetings, committee meetings, full board meetings of Community Board 4, they're recorded and on YouTube.
And also streamed live right now.
Right. Okay, so want to welcome everybody. Just to let you know, if you have copies of tonight's agenda, we arranged the agenda by type of application. So we have the new wine, beer, and cider license applications, then existing facilities, existing sites that want to change their license, and then new full liquor license application. And then, going by the new procedures, we have the dining, sidewalk, and roadway application. That comes from the Department of Transportation. All the applicants for the liquor license come to us first, and then we make a recommendation to the full board, usually accepts it, and then it goes to the state liquor authority. The new rules and regs for the dining out, sidewalk, and street reverse. Department of Transportation application goes there first. They say, oh, this is wonderful, and they send it to us. And then we make our comments, send it back to them. We may often are in disagreement with the Department of Transportation. And just one more thing I want to say, when we send our letter to the State Liquor Authority, format that we've developed over the years is we deny this application unless these stipulations, which we negotiate with the applicant, are met, and they sign off on it. And hopefully the stipulations go into the method of operation that the State Liquor Authority approves. So if they're not following the stipulations, they're violating their license. Okay? So welcome everybody.
Okay, hi, I'm this is Bert Leisman. I think he introduced himself, one of the co-chairs. I'm the other co-chair, Frank Zubiak. We have a new member of CB4 who's also new to this committee, Thomas Garza. So welcome him, and maybe go around the table and ask everyone to introduce themselves.
And you want to say why you came to the business license permit? Or you were just tapped on the head?
And
Someone tapped me on the head. No, thank you for having me here. I just joined last month. I applied just in the spring. Someone told me I should apply. I was like, okay, why not? If I walk around the city and think, oh, there are things that should be done better. Why don't I go try to make them better? There's some small way. So here I am. I just filled out some preferences on which committees I would join, and since I was kind of an off-cycle person, here I am. Happy to be here.
Introducing ourselves, great. Hi, I'm Jesse Greenwald. I am a member of this committee. Great.
Being a Jenko member.
Severinus member.
Tina Nelson, member.
Alan Lawson, member.
Candace Hewitt, member.
Christine Bertay, member.
Greg Morris, member.
And online?
Carrie Keenan, member.
Mike Noble, member.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Yeah, so just a couple other preliminary things. To reiterate one thing Bert said, neither this committee or Community Group 4 has any power to issue a liquor license or approve a sidewalk cafe. All we can do is make recommendations. The ultimate decisions are ultimately up to the state liquor authority in terms of liquor licenses and the Department of Transportation's outdoor dining. So we make a recommendation to the full board, which will hear these applications at its next meeting on December 4. Anyone from the community or the applicants who want to be heard by the full board can speak for 2 minutes at that meeting, either in person or virtually. They will then make a recommendation to the SLA or the DOT. And if you are unhappy with the way that recommendation goes, or if you're happy, in almost all cases, the public has an opportunity to address the SLA or the DOT directly at a public hearing. So people can also show up at that. The other thing I wanted to speak about is something you haven't heard from us before, which is about deadlines. We have deadlines when materials are supposed to be submitted to the community board office, and they're really not arbitrary. And they're really to everyone's benefit and to try to get the system to work. So our deadline is designed working backwards to give our assistant district manager, Nellie Gonzalez, time to process them and get them out to the board and to the community the Friday before our meeting. So it's only 5 days before that. And that is important because we need to give people time to review these things. We are all volunteers. We have to fit this in around jobs and the rest of life. We want the community to have time to process things. What happened this month is over half of the applicants sent us stuff either over the weekend or yesterday. And yesterday was a holiday for the board office. So today we faced this mountain of materials, which we tried to get out to people, but really it is not in the applicant's interest to do this because we cannot guarantee anyone on the committee is even going to look at this stuff because, and today we had the added problem that we circulate things through Dropbox, which was technically iffy all day. So it made it doubly hard. So it's very frustrating to everyone, but it's really not just for our benefit. It's really to give the applicants and to give everyone a fair hearing. And I know lawyers typically set deadlines for, their clients, the applicants to get them stuff. You should do that because, your lawyer wants to get the stuff to us by our deadline. So going forward, if everyone could try to cooperate a little more, it really would make things so much easier for everybody. Thanks.
Okay, very important. Okay, so let's proceed. We're starting on the agenda. Item number 1 is in the group of new wine, beer, and cider license. It's 464 West 51st Street, Tsuki, Omakase, Xtra. Okay, is the applicant here, the lawyers? 464 West 51st Street.
I guess the
Next.
The applicant want to raise their hand
or speaker.
or speak up? Yes,
Yeah.
Zin Lee, are you the applicant?
It looks like you put yourself back on mute.
Okay,
We still can. If you're trying to talk, we can't hear you.
now he's not on there anymore. Oh. you're on
Hi,
mute.
this is Z. Yes, I'm the applicant for 464 51st Street.
Okay, thank you. We can hear you now.
Okay, so want to tell us something about your application, please?
Yes, we are opening up a new restaurant. We took over the old Tattoo Ramen shop, and we are converting into a nice fine dining and Japanese omakase, and we're preparing to only serve 15 maximum customers per hour, and we're opening up from 12 o'clock, and then we'll close at 10. And yes, we will have play soft music, background music, and we are not doing any dining out outside area, only in the restaurant.
Yeah,
Okay,
Bert, I don't have any comments.
anybody on the committee have any questions, comments? Do we have anybody online? No? Oh,
I think they have to change their time.
yeah, the times don't match.
Well, they said, oh, they'll open at noon
Noon.
and close at 10, so 11 to 11 makes sense for them.
Yeah, it gives them some space. But when we say a closing time, we mean close, not last call, we mean close. So if you you're an applicant and you want to close down at last call at 10, you put down 11. Tina,
Just a very quick question, because I noticed, sorry, I'm sorry. This question, will applicant have bottle or table service for alcoholic beverages other than wine? And the answer is yes. So I'm just sort of curious what
Cider, beer.
right, I just want to confirm that that's the only thing that will.
their license, their application is just for wine, beer, cider.
Cider.
Okay,
And I see, now that we have somebody who has a raised hand online.
Yes, we have Katie Savage and Lucy Liu. Hi, Katie Savage. I am representing the Hell's Kitchen 4954 Block Association. Although this notice came in after our last meeting and we weren't able to talk to our members, I live directly next door to this establishment. It sounds like it's pretty much going to be the same thing as the previous restaurant that was there. So we don't have any issues with this and we wish them success.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
And Lucy?
Lucy, if you want to speak, you have to accept being promoted.
Christine, did you have something?
I wanted to do a motion.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you, Lucy. What do you have to
Yes.
say?
So this is Lucy. I'm the resident, live right above the restaurant. First, welcome to the new neighborhood. My question is the previously, I had a very difficult time dealing with the restaurant, the Total Ramen Noodle. They use the background music, although the music was not terribly loud, but I hear that very loud upstairs, and the DEP people came and it's above 42 decibel. And downstairs, to be honest with you, when I went to the restaurant, it was not that terribly loud, but because of the sound that travels along the beam, and most of the night they woke me. And also they never close at 10. They said close at 10 on their website. They sometimes stay till 11 p.m. And when they move the furniture around, the upstairs is miserable. And I'm the only person is affected by this noise. Again, it's not restaurant people were nice. They were very nice and they will try, but the noise was, they have to add the noise insulation at the time because the restaurant cannot afford to stop the business to do the construction on the ceiling. The noise, I don't know the term. And then so I tolerate that, and most of the night I have to go to another place to sleep. Many nights, because because I support a small business, and the camera can capture all my entry and the leaving most of the nights. And I think I'm the only New Yorker who would do this to sacrifice my own quality of life, because they are nice people. But since this new restaurant, I just think that should keep that in mind, and especially they are under renovation. So if they can add the sound isolation, the tile on the ceiling, and I hope it will be helpful. And also the closing time, if it's, you know, really they can comply to the time they put in the application, will be okay. And so that's the issue. But again, you know, I welcome them to the new neighborhood.
So we should have we know.
Sound study?
We gotta do a sound study, or at least, I mean, do we need a full study or do we need just insulation?
It's always better to have a study.
Yeah, we should do a
Because
study.
you don't know how.
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, let's do a study.
We'll say February. Should we stipulate?
Yeah, what's
Let's
that?
talk to the applicant.
Yeah.
Yes. The applicant, do you have a response?
Yes, our restaurant concept is a little bit different than previous totem ramen. We have very limited customers coming in per day, and we pretty much we can guarantee you that we're not going to be very loud. Probably a lot more quiet than what they
I think what the community member was saying though is that when she went down to Toto Ramen, it actually wasn't that loud there. It was just that the sound was traveling upstairs.
So we're gonna
Okay.
request a sound study.
So what it is that we can do some installations to the top to the ceiling to reduce the sound, and plus that we don't play the music like what they used to play. I have been in the Totem Ramen before. They play a little bit more of a like maybe louder music. Ours concept is more like a very soft like real soft, just music, not even no singing or anything. So just
Okay.
So
just like a touch.
You have a question for you.
Are you going to change where the speakers are located?
What
Could you
was
hear the
that? What was
question?
the question?
Wait, yeah, can we seem
Are
to,
you-
we seem, because, wait, hold on a second, Christine, we seem to be getting the sound only through the laptop, right?
It's just very soft. Is there a way to
Okay.
turn it up? Or is the volume up all the way on here? And then,
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
No,
was...
we're trying to skip
are-
the volume here.
Yeah, we're adjusting the sound.
yeah, so the speakers are at
So-
100% there.
Yeah.
Is there a plus button here?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't mess it up.
Hello?
Okay,
Okay.
try now, Christine.
Yes, I was asking whether you were going to change where the speakers, the sound speakers are installed, or you're going to leave them where they are today?
Definitely it'll be changed because we are doing a full renovation. Like what I said, the ceilings that like you have problem before or previous wherever that has a problem, we're gonna see if we can fix that because we're doing pretty much a full renovation besides the inner kitchen.
Where are you going to put them?
You talking about the speaker?
Yeah,
The speaker is gonna be in the front or in, not to the back.
but they are going to be attached to the walls, are they, where are they?
Yes, it's gonna be attached to the wall.
Because that's what a survey, a sound survey does, is they look at all the aspects of where the speakers are and where your tables are going to be, etc. And can advise you on where do you need sound protection. And so typically, we request the applicant to do that study, and there are names online of accepted engineers, and then to implement what the engineers said.
Particularly whereas here, we've heard from someone right upstairs that, you know, although the prior place did not seem that loud in person, it was, you know, interfering with her reasonable quality of life. So would you be willing to get an acoustic report and, you know, implement what the acoustician suggests?
Yes, we're willing to to work with the residential upstairs.
Well, now, what we're asking, there are people, the city has a list of approved acoustical engineers who do this work professionally. And we typically ask people in this situation to hire one of these firms to come in, and they'll do a sound study. They will look at the construction in your place. They will try to do readings sound readings from the resident above and recommend how, you know, things you can do, particularly if you're doing renovation now, to make it quieter so it doesn't bother the people upstairs. So what we're asking is that you retain one of these experts and get that kind of a study done.
And we will need the results of the report. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I will talk to my constructioners and then see if we can get a professional proof for not having to disturb upstairs.
No, we're asking for an acoustical report. We have a list.
Nellie will send it.
Nellie will send it to you of approved engineers. And we need that report before the full board meeting, which is on December 4th.
And the tenant upstairs has to allow them in to do the tests.
Yes,
Well, if she wants to. Nellie, what would the deadline be for stuff like that?
Sorry, the deadline would need to be November 25th.
Okay. All right, so back to the applicant. Are you willing to get this kind of work done?
Yes, we'll get somebody to get a estimate out.
Well, it's not an estimate. It's, you know, you hire them, they come in and do all this work and they give you a written report.
Yes, I'll get a report.
Okay, and you should talk to Nellie Gonzalez in the board meeting, the board office. She'll give you a list of there are probably like 100 people on this list of people you can hire to do it.
and sooner the better because your deadline is November 25th. which
Okay,
is only a
the
couple of
November
weeks away.
25th.
Yeah.
Has to get back to the board by November.
Okay.
25th. Okay, thank
We
you.
should tell the person
So-
upstairs.
So who do I need to contact to get a list of
Nellie Gonzalez.
It's the same person you sent who sent you the information about tonight's meeting.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And for the neighbor upstairs, I think it'd be helpful to you when they're doing this work, that if you could give them access to your apartment when you're there, so they can do some sound measurements from your apartment. That I think will just make it better for you.
Do they have each other's contact?
They can do it through Nellie.
Yeah.
Actually, not in the, she has her hand raised. I don't know if she can talk. Lucy?
Lucy, you can talk if you.
Did you hear what we had to say, Lucy? Did you respond?
Yes, hi. So, so I can provide my contact information, and I heard you request me to provide the access. Absolutely, yes. So if they let me, like, notify me 24 hours in advance, I can manage to be home, and I'm more than happy to work with the new owner because I want to support a small business and I want them to be successful. And so I'm more than happy to work with the applicant as long as I can, you know.
Excellent, Lucy. Thank you.
Yes.
So Lucy,
Thank you,
Lucy,
panel.
if you could send your email to Nellie Gonzalez in the community board office, you can get her email on the community board 4 website, and Nellie will put you and the operator in touch.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
With that
Wait,
Thank you,
what was the
thank you
motion?
all for
Okay.
taking my call, and have a
Oh,
nice
of course.
evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Very important that we're here, Lucy.
So
Thank you.
approval with the.
With the stipulation,
Yeah.
with the acoustical report,
And the commitment that he's going to implement.
and implement the recommendations.
Second.
And there's a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Abstaining? Terry, you voted yes? Okay. Abstaining, present not eligible, okay, moving on to our second grouping, existing facilities, existing restaurants, whatever, which want to change their application,
Whatever.
I can't think of all the possibilities. So this is item number 2, 401 West 54th Street, Virago by Chef Yala Corporation. Okay, they want to operate 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to midnight. Is the applicant here?
Yes,
The
I'm
lawyer?
Aurelia Taveras, the representative for Virago by Chef Yaya Group Corp. 401 West 54th Street. It is a wine and tapas bar looking to change its class. It opened in August. It's in the operating hours right now are 12 p.m. till noon till 11 p.m. It actually even got a notable review already by 42 West NYC magazine. It's Dominican Spanish, and we have a special guest here, my dog, so that he stays quiet. I'm sorry, guys, because if not, he's gonna bark and be it because he wants to go outside. So sorry
I'm gonna
about
get my
that.
vote for approval.
Okay,
That's probably-
so a couple of questions. You were here, I think you were here a month or two ago. And,
Yeah, about
and at
almost
that
3
point, I
months.
thought you decided to put this off for a while, so you've been operating a while. Why are you back so soon? I mean, you haven't had much of a track record being open yet in the neighborhood.
Well, they've been open since August. You're right about that. They don't have a track record, but it's a small footprint. I think it's less than 500 feet, 22 seats. If it's that many, it's struggling with the wine and beer. And it's getting great reviews from neighborhoods, from the neighbors. She's gonna operate the same way. It's a small Dominican Spanish tapas, a restaurant, one of the few in the neighborhood. And there've been no complaints that we know of.
Okay,
And,
so I'm really confused, as are people from the community, about what exactly this business is. Because the name on your application and the photo of the front of the restaurant you sent says Virago by Chef Yala. But then the photo in the West 42nd Street magazine that you sent has a photo of the same building and it's called Tapas 54.
That's
and
the DBA.
Well, no, but the photo you sent us in your application.
That's the DBA.
But this is
Sorry?
a photo of the front of your restaurant with saying Virago, so. And then the people in the West 42nd Street are completely different names. The chef is Howard Breton and the owner is given as Joel Orgando, which are different from the names on this application. So who's involved in this? And what's the name?
The owner of the first, it's Tapa 54. That's the DBA of Virago by Chef Yaya Corp. The DBA is Tapa 54. So sorry about that the not updated photo. I can forward that to you. Second, Kristen Contreras is the owner. Those are the chefs. They were misquoted in the article because the chef actually that chef is from the French Culinary Institute. Now the name has changed for that institute, but that's just a misunderstanding. That happens a lot when a lot of the time people say the chef is the owner. He's not.
Yeah, but also the menu you sent us doesn't really match up with the stuff they're talking about in the article.
That was the menu that we sent with the liquor authority. If you want the updated menu, I can send it to you now. They've changed a little bit, pared down things a little bit, and most of it is tapas.
All right, I gotta say, given the short operating history and all this confusion, I mean, I'm somewhat concerned that we don't even know what we'd be approving a full liquor license for. Well, one last thing, when you were here a month or two ago, we talked about how potentially burdensome those couple outdoor tables were, and at that point you agreed not to have them. they're still on your application. Are you agreeing not to have the sidewalk tables?
We're not gonna do sidewalk. We,
Okay,
she doesn't,
all right. I
she
think
doesn't
this
have the
was just-
budget for it right now. No, she
Okay,
doesn't,
so
and
there'll be
we
no
agreed
other
not to do it.
No 2 tables
And when we
outside,
come-
no 4 seats.
You can always come back for an alteration later on, but
Sure.
for this application. All right, well, I think I want to hear from the rest of the committee and the community, but oh, the other thing was, you circled every kind of music, live music, DJ, jukebox, karaoke.
You couldn't decide?
Yeah, I mean, given the size of
No,
this
if-
establishment, are you really gonna have all of those?
Not really, but what we do is, there he goes. What we do is we do put it on if in case they have a birthday party and they have a little DJ, or they have a special event or an anniversary or something, because if you don't have it on your license, you get fined. But that we're gonna use it, I think you see the way she's operating, probably not. But if she has brunch on Sundays, if she wants to have a live, one-piece, percussionist or whatever, or not a percussionist, a guitarist. We want to be able to let her be able to have it following the guidelines of the SLA.
All right.
So do you understand some of our confusion now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Anybody from the committee have a question, Christine?
So I'm totally confused. So who are the real people here?
The owner is the person on the application, Kristen.
Contreras.
Contreras,
That's true.
yeah, and the 2 people, as I understand it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the 2 people interviewed and quoted in the West 42nd Street article are actually the chefs. One said he was a chef, the other was listed as the owner, but I guess that was a mistake. Is that right?
Correct.
Mr. Let's see, Howard Brenton and Joe Orlando, they do work there, but
Yes.
they're the chefs? Okay,
One is a chef and one is a supervisor.
okay.
And so the DBA tapas, how come tapas is not on the front?
No, it is.
It is.
It's the photo attached to the application
Both things.
that has the.
Yeah, I
other
didn't
name.
give you an updated photo. I'm sorry about that. She didn't tell me she had changed the
Yeah,
sign
so
already.
the West 42nd Street photo had tapas 54. Okay,
And I can send you the DBA receipt, for you guys for your reference also, just so
Okay,
you
you're
know.
gonna send us also the updated menu.
Yes.
I have a question regarding the garbage containers. It says you're gonna have them on the street before 3 p.m. Is that correct? There's.
Before, after 4,
Yeah, it's after
or
4.
after 6.
Yeah, you need to recheck your time. I don't think it's 3 p.m. It's when you can put your containers out.
Okay.
Okay, any additional questions, comments from committee members? I see we have one hand raised, Nellie.
yeah, so we did get emails from the West 4953 Block Association, but Katie is here in person, so I'll let her speak to their position.
Great. Hi, Katie again, speaking for the 4954 Block Association. What really made us incredibly confused about this from the beginning was when you first asked to change your method of operation to include a liquor license, stating that the customers wanted margaritas and mojitos. The business wasn't open. The business was still under renovations. So you got a liquor license for beer wine without ever coming to the Block Association, without ever coming to the community board. And then out of nowhere, before the business even opens, we get notification that that the operator wants to add liquor to a business that's not even open yet. So as community members who, we get outreach from businesses all over the place. There's tons of bars and restaurants in this neighborhood. This is not something we've experienced very often, that someone who's never come to us all of a sudden. And my biggest concern is prior to your operating, there was no liquor license ever at that location. And that is something that a community that is so saturated with liquor licenses, especially being that you're not on the avenue, you're on the side street. The fact that it's a new liquor license in a location that never had it, and we never got to comment on it or say anything about it, kind of sets your client back a bit with us. So I would strongly urge you to rescind this application and wait until you've been open long enough for the community to get to know the business and make sure there aren't any issues before you ask to increase the license, just because, you know, the whole way this happened was a little unorthodox.
Well, I apologize for the unorthodox nature of the application. She actually was supposed to open a year ago, but setbacks and the Department of Buildings and all of that. So this application was put in. The community board had 45 days to opine for the liquor authority, and it's wine and beer, a lower classification. So she got approved, but we could never pick up the license because she wasn't open. Finally, she is open. She's saying we're struggling, you know, and we want to change. We want to get ahead of an application for full liquor. I told them that we had discussed that we would wait 6 months. She goes, but can we get ahead of it? So if your suggestion is that we wait and go back and wait on the table, maybe come back in January or February, Summers, you know, and actually wait until her permanent license is used to change the class, which is what I told her. However, she wanted us to come in because of the struggling nature of, you know, wine and beer. Sometimes just, you know, people want to drink, you know, liquor, and it's Latin food, and it really pairs well with top shelf liquor. So I'm going to withdraw this application. And we met with the Block Association, just so you know, we didn't try to
Oh,
circumvent
yeah,
you.
they've told us that. But as Katie said, we are also confused on the community board end, because we have no record of your 30-day notice for the wine and beer, and you never came to this committee. So I'm not saying that's, you know, it could have been an administrative issue on our end, but Katie's right. I mean, we've never even opined on the original wine and beer license. So I think it's important to us as well that we get some kind of operating track record with your client. Again, it could be a great operator, and I've seen the comments on the West 42nd Street blog, people who really like it. So that's great, but I think it's to everyone's best interest to wait a couple more months and come back.
And you submit
Sure.
then a consistently clear application.
Yeah, and for purposes of time, I know it's late. Thank you for taking the time. We'll withdraw this application and bring it back on
Thank
another
you.
occasion.
Thanks.
Thank you,
And,
members of the board.
Yeah, Nellie is gonna ask you to sign an official withdrawal form, so
Sure, we'll
if you
take
could do
care of
that for us, that'd be great.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
you too. And now we're moving on to full liquor license, wine, beer, and cider license application. These are new liquor license. Okay, first item is item number 3, 453 West 17th Street, the Right Group LLC. Hours of operation, 5 PM to 4 AM, 7 days a week. This is a nightclub.
And just a little background before I turn it over to the applicant. They've been here at least 1 month. So this is a location that was deeply troubled under its prior operator, a place called One Oak, in part because it was one of 3 or 4 night spots on this block, and there was a lot of sort of noise and finger pointing about who was responsible. So it's a sensitive location for us and for the residents. Last month they came here, it became clear there was not sufficient notice or community outreach, and the applicant agreed to postpone a month to do more outreach, to come back today. So I will now turn it over to them, but that was just a little history there.
Thanks, Frank. Would you like us to stand somewhere else?
Probably, but it's usually better.
Yeah, maybe over there, you can.
I also have hard copies if anyone wants hard copies.
I would like to.
Yeah, so they did send a new one in with some support letters and a big presentation. I'll take one for the file, yeah.
Great. A presentation packet as well as a. These over here, the flip ones include the support, the updates to the application, things like that. The others are just a presentation packet, there's a version of that in the.
All right, is there some reason?
Sure, we can send you, I mean, I had, how many?
Yeah, we only had about 5.
We can send you additional copies if you want, or you can take it out.
Is there some reason he's not? So is that thing working?
Yeah.
Yeah, this work.
But
Yeah,
he's
some of the
not
information
showing up. Online.
Where?
It's the way your view is somehow put behind, or check the view, is like speakers, what kind of view?
We have,
Good here?
Yeah, we have it on speaker.
we have it on speaker view,
I think it's that thing that's not.
You sure?
one before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's that thing that's not rotating.
No, it's not looking at us at all.
Yeah.
Usually if they start speaking loud enough, it'll.
Okay.
Why don't you
navigate
just-
it.
Yeah, okay.
I can stand right behind you.
Yeah.
We're all the same.
See, it's catching you already. Once you start speaking, if you project,
Okay.
it'll find you.
Great, I'll do my
Oh,
best.
yeah, picked him up,
Yeah.
it's just minimized up there.
Great, Joseph Levy here on behalf of the Right Group LLC. I have with me Amanda Orso, one of the principals on the application. Thanks for the introduction, Frank. We were actually here 2 months ago. And it became very clear that the outreach was not satisfactory. We immediately withdrew, and we undertook to do a ton of that outreach. You will find the result of that outreach in the package in front of you. There's now 56 different petition signatures, and those are from the block, in addition to 12 letters of support. In addition to the petition signatures of support. You getting me?
Yeah.
In addition to the petition signatures of support and letters of support, there was also an extensive communication that went out to everyone on the board office and block association list. Explaining the concept, introducing the principles, and even offering an open house Zoom to attend to answer questions, go through more information about the project. There was literally zero response to that communication and zero attendance at the open house, the virtual open house that we set up. So that's just a little bit of background about the additional outreach. Before I get into the nuts and bolts of the application, which we didn't really get a chance to do last time, I do want Amanda to introduce herself and talk a little bit about the concept.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and attention tonight. My name is Amanda Orso. As Joseph said, I'm one of the owners of Drees Lounge. A little background about me. I'm a mother of 4, a longtime New York City resident. I've been in the hospitality industry since 2011. Our concept for Drees is a neighborhood cocktail lounge operating on the lower level of 453 West 17th Street. We are also new owners of the building at 453 West 17th Street, so we have a real genuine commitment to the security and the safety and success of not just that site and establishment, but of course the block and the community. And we're excited to be part of the Chelsea community. And thank you again for listening to us tonight.
So a couple of quick notes about the application itself. As Frank mentioned, this was the One Oak space previously, which I don't need to tell you guys about the history of that space. And one of the big challenges of that space was how big it was, and how it was really unmanageable to do that on a regular basis. Just to be super clear about the application that's in front of you, while this is for the ground level and lower level space, the spaces are separated. The ground floor is about 300 person capacity, the lower level is about a 75 person capacity. The intention here is to operate just the lower level on a regular everyday basis, and that is going to be the regular business here. 75 person capacity, lower level lounge environment. You see the concept deck there in front of you. The ground floor space that has the 300 person capacity, this is going to be reserved for private events. By private events, I do not mean outside promoters. I do not mean, international DJs that were doing it. I'm talking about weddings, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, this kind of thing. And I understand the trepidation with subdividing the space and considering it as 2 different business models. So some protections to put in place there to hopefully get the point across of what our real operation is going to be is our intention to operate that ground floor space that has the 300 person capacity. Again, private events only, no outside promoters, and we would anticipate using that space about 20 times a year. So we're not talking about an activation every night, every other night, even every weekend. This is a 20 time a year we would anticipate utilizing that massive space. Otherwise, you're talking about a subterranean space, 75 persons. So I just wanted to make that.
Yeah, Joe, just, don't interrupt, but I'm looking at the diagrams. Where you have ground floor and basement. Can you sort of tell us where, I mean, the basement looks like it's mostly restrooms. Where's the,
So there's a better diagram further in the package.
okay,
Where there's copies of the concept deck.
is it in this?
Yes, it's in there as well.
Okay,
And it kind of breaks it out in a better visual.
oh, I see, okay.
Page 8.
Page 8, okay.
Yeah.
So the breakdown is you have,
I see, great,
Yeah.
yeah.
within the entirety of the space, you have 20 tables, 200 seats, 2 bars, 23 seats.
I think we have extras of these, can we maybe give them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few over here,
Want me to slide these down?
but also, can we give some to the?
Yeah, those two are
Yeah.
great.
Okay, Jesse needs not there.
Are those are different than this?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
They're in there, this is just a nicer presentation.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
No problem. So the breakdown of all the seats and all the bars inside that basement level, 75 person capacity, 8 tables, 30 seats, 1 bar with no seats added. The ground floor is at 300 person capacity, 12 tables, 170 seats, 1 bar with 23 seats added.
Okay,
So the hours of operation here, 5 PM to 4 AM, 7 days a week. In terms of music, we are looking for DJ live music recorded. We are obviously not using all of those types of music all the time, but we would like all 3 of those over both sections. There's no outdoor space here whatsoever. And again, this is not going to be the nightclub that was run here for many years, and these folks who are the principals here also bought the building itself.
So you would stipulate to those capacity numbers you just told us, and that the ground floor would be private events
Correct.
only. With some limited number of days, whether that's 20 or something,
Correct.
20 or
And-
30, whatever.
Correct, and as you see in the package, there's 2 other levels that are not part of this application at all, and are not for license use.
Okay, and what else is going on in the building in Bellevue? Is there any residential in the building itself?
Nothing, the entire building, there's nothing there, it's been just,
So it's all
especially just
commercial.
like, it's demolished now, there's nothing out there.
What are you planning on doing with it? Sorry. let's say before.
Not sure.
okay.
Did you bring other people? Did anyone want to say anything before we turn things over to the committee and the community?
So I know online, we try not to bring a huge,
Appreciate it. It's a little crowded here tonight.
online, we do have the general manager of the space who's available to answer operational questions, who have some that we can't answer here. We also have our head of security. In addition, inside the packet you have there, you'll have a security plan, a traffic plan, all that stuff. And this individual, he has an outside security company, he's done work at food and beverage and nightlife operations in New York City, specifically in Manhattan Community Board 4 as well. So he's here on the line as well. if there's any
Okay, so we're gonna see if question. Comments from members of the committee.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the
Needed.
committee first and then we'll get
If
you.
needed, then they can answer that.
Okay.
Members of the committee, comments, Candace?
I'm trying to look for the acoustical report, I know there's something above them, I'm guessing, because since this is a new build out. That I would suggest you do an acoustical report as it being somebody being a resident.
There's no residents.
No, but I'm saying, if
We
it's
don't.
going to be a build out, we might as well just. Ask for acoustical report for whoever may be the tenant above them.
Well, except it's their building.
building.
I think they're saying it's not gonna be residential.
So there will likely be offices and other use by this group upstairs. There's not gonna be a.
So they own the building
They own the building.
and they have no intention of making residences. Just office space on the other 2 floors.
Nonetheless, for what it's worth, as they did purchase this building, they're trying to do this the right way. They are planning to get an acoustic report. They are planning to do this the right way to ensure that
Okay,
all the sound is what it's supposed to be. And again, the concept downstairs, we're talking about an intimate lounge where the acoustics are gonna matter.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Jesse,
I have a few questions. So, one, can you just talk more about what the importance of your 4 AM close 7 days a week, or not being 7 days a week? Why is that important to you? Who are you trying to capture between 2 and 4 in the morning and a Wednesday? Really, like, what's the clientele that you're imagining coming all the way over to far over West 17th Street at that time?
Sure, I know I've been speaking to these guys since the beginning when they were considering buying this building, and we know trying to get a 4 AM in a space that's never had one before can be challenging. So that there was an attraction there. to put it in a place where it had existed previously. But at the end of the day, this is just a more mature nightlife model than your traditional nightclub or something like that. And it's just a unique concept and a way to subdivide the space in a way that you can monetize it and also not have this crazy large establishment operating all the time. So
Okay.
the idea is just kind of an intimate later night place.
Sure.
And that's just.
So, I mean, so I'm imagining you're right, there aren't that many places that are open between 2 and 4 in the morning in Chelsea and in this area on a weeknight, and I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing, but assuming that's the case, I can easily see someone saying, hey, let's keep the night going, we're at X place at 2 a.m., let's Uber over to this cocktail lounge. So, if there are a bunch of Ubers showing up at 2:15 in the morning, it probably is in here. I'm sorry, there's a lot of there's a good amount of material, which is great. Where do we have a traffic plan and secure?
Yes.
Are people going to be queuing outside? I assume not.
No.
But can you talk that
Yeah,
through?
sure.
Yeah.
That's another aspect of subdividing the space in the way that we have. We're allowed, if there's any element of queuing can happen inside as opposed to outside. This will also be a very heavy reservation space, if not entirely reservation. So there shouldn't be that element of, hey, let's take an Uber and see if we can get in here. It's more like if you have a reservation, great. If you don't, not the right fit.
You really think people are going to be making 3:30 a.m. reservations? Really?
I mean, it happens.
Okay.
It happens.
And then my third question is just how did you reach your number of 20 events a year? How did you get to that number? I'm curious.
It was just an internal operational conversation. When they said that they were separating the space this way, I said, look, if we're gonna pitch the community board that there's gonna be one space that's operational daily and one space that's gonna be for private events, we're gonna have to put some guardrails in place so people know there's not just gonna be a private event every night. And they talked internally based on what they thought they could book and what they've booked at other places and stuff like that, and 20 was the number that they came up with. If it doesn't work, obviously we'll come back here and talk to you guys about it, but
Okay.
that's how we arrived.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the committee? Christine?
Yes, so what is your previous experience in nightclubs?
So my background is in hospitality, so I've done large scale events back starting in 2011. We've brought in Sunday Hospitality, Adam Hansen specifically, who operates the Chelsea Hotel and has been part of quite a few nightclubs around New York City and within the Chelsea community. So we've basically surrounded ourselves with a pretty experienced and professional team, and brought in Igor from Dignitary Securities, which is not only runs a security firm, but also has operated a nightclub, and also brought in Ariel Pallets, who is advising us as a consultant, who obviously has a lot of nightclub experience as well.
So who is going to be managing day-to-day? the club?
Justin Massey, who's our general manager, he's gonna be there mentoring.
And Justin has what experience?
Justin can speak to it, he's on Zoom, and again,
Yeah,
there'll be a team approach to this as well.
Yes, this is Justin Massey. I've been in the business actually from a kid. My family has been in the hospitality and restaurant business since I was a kid, as a busboy and a waiter and a general manager of restaurants on Long Island. And I've been in the nightclub business now in New York City for a handful of years. So yes, we understand that experience is important. And as Amanda said, Sunday hospitality and our security team are excellent. And we are really relying on our entire team to make sure that this is not only successful, but as a good corporate citizen in the neighborhood.
So what are the clubs you have managed before?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Justin, what are the clubs you have managed before, the nightclubs?
Not nightclubs, restaurants.
Okay, so that's different. All right, so that's one thing. The second thing is that the traffic plan, can you take us through the traffic plan?
Sure, I'd like Igor to speak to it. He prepared the traffic plan and is head of security. It's his outside security agency that works with nightclubs in New York City and has worked with MCB4 before. So Igor, if you wanna jump in and talk about the traffic plan.
Hey guys, how are you? So like they said before, they're just gonna operate the 75-person space downstairs every day. So there's really no need for like an extensive traffic plan, because at 75 people, you're not going to see what you're used to. I know what you guys are worried about. I'm familiar with the old One Oak. This is nowhere near what One Oak was. It's not going to be like that. Amanda and the guys at Dre's are different than a lot of my other clients. They cut no corners as far as safety and security goes. So, you know, if I tell them, if I feel like they need 10 guys in the street just to direct traffic, I never have any pushback. So, you know, security is never an issue with these guys.
Okay, but like back to traffic. So, I mean, you know, our experience has been that we have a whole bunch of, you know, Uber or limos or whatever coming in, and it could be just 10, right? But there is one lane on that street, and therefore 10 limos is a lot. And there's a lot of honking, and there is a lot of jostling, etc. What is the traffic plan then?
Well, at the end of the day, we're happy to stipulate to keep the outside clean, keep cars moving, not allow people to idle and not have them honk. To the extent we can prevent that.
And to the extent is just that very, very nice umbrella that didn't work for the last 10 years.
And perhaps one of the stipulations should be, I mean, in the traffic plan, like Uber drop off and pickup should be on the avenue and not on the street.
You can't manage it, you have to close the street. It didn't work before until they closed the street. So they have to close the street, so they would have to have a commitment from NYPD.
So we've already,
I mean, yes, well,
I've already had some of those conversations with NYPD, and if that was brought up tonight, we were gonna talk about that, and we would work with NYPD and take directives from them. And they've already told us that in the event there is a larger scale event and closing the street makes sense, that's something they would work with us on. But that's something that, you know, there are a lot of people interested in that decision. So we want to talk to residents, we want to talk to.
But it also can come from you too. I mean, like literally just having signs internally saying, if ordering an Uber, you know, put in this address around the corner.
And we can also organize a pickup spot, which is not out front. So if you request a car there.
That's what I'm saying, exactly.
We can also we can man those pickup spots so everybody's safe to get dropped off and picked up with security. That is not an issue whatsoever.
So the 320 events, 20 a year is pretty much twice a month. So if I am a resident, twice a month is a lot. So it sounds good, it's not 100%, but twice a month is a lot to not sleep and have all these cars and everybody coming in and leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we don't know that every event's gonna go to 4 o'clock in the morning. We're anticipating some of these are gonna be bar mitzvahs and things like that. So not every event is gonna be a full
So
300
you want
person
to
event.
stipulate that the events will be up to midnight?
No, we wanna stipulate that we're gonna have 20 events a year and that they are not all going to be till 4 AM. We are going to stipulate that we will control the events. We will take extra precautions on the nights where there are more people there as opposed to the day where it's 75 persons. But I can't tell you exactly how late every event's gonna go because they haven't been booked yet.
So, just, I'm still hurting from the wars with One Oak. And so I want to say, all these words are great and your intentions are great, but typically it doesn't work. So that's what my experience is with One Oak. I spend hours and hours and hours to try to say, hey, do it differently, and nothing worked. So I just want you to know that. Okay.
We know you're not.
Is there anybody there? No, I guess not.
Okay. Okay, we have now people from the community. We'll take those who are present here first and those online. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay, first off, on October
Can you
7th.
identify who you are?
Ann Fredlin, I live at the Caledonia, directly across the street, windows facing.
Great, and one for everyone who's speaking, just because the microphones are literally here for those online, just make sure you project as much as you can. Thank you.
I received an email October 7th from Amanda, 24 hours before the last meeting, that they were in the process of setting up a virtual follow-up for concerned residents with the management team, and I never heard from her again, and never reached out to residents that they had an email for that are concerned about this. Businesses are established in the area to serve the needs and the wants of the community. Within 2 to 3 block radius, we have 25 or more drinking establishments. Within 2 blocks, we have 4 to 5 dance drinking establishments. This doesn't count any liquor stores or bodegas. We are oversaturated. Closing the block did not work. When weather is inclement, doesn't work. You're asking residents to pay an additional cost, waiting on a queue for the block to be open, for them to prove that they lived on the block, of at least 10 to 15 bucks more per cab ride. You're asking also residents that have to be up for business flights to assume cancellation fees because their Ubers or whatnot can't get down the block. It doesn't work, and we do hear the traffic off of 10th Avenue. Okay, looking at the application that they submitted to you guys, they used old photos showing no improvements or updates, no effort. All right, there's no sound study with this application, no traffic study included with this application that's presented today. They said they'll have 1 security guard for every 50 people and a supervisor. That's 7 guards for inside. We don't really care about the inside. One Oak with experienced operators had at any given time 100 to 300 people screaming in the street. What's the plan for the outside of the club? Further, we had a sampling of it during Fashion Week, and quite frankly, excuse me, everyone, it was a shit show. There should be no cars on 17th Street at all. But you're asking everyone else to incur that, the residents that live there, that rent there, that own there, that need to get up to work. All right? There's also, we have letters, there's no letters of support that were included in this application. They're presented to you guys today. I have a petition of at least 35 signatures, and there are probably a couple of hundred more coming from Fulton Housing. Okay, we have a couple of hundred school-age children that need their sleep. They're in elementary school, mostly in Fulton Housing, but a fair amount in Caledonia, as well as adults that need it for work. To sum it up, it didn't work for experienced club owners, not people that work in hotels or manage hospitality. One Oak had shootings, drugs, stealing, fighting, sex on the street. These people never operated a place. There's a severe lack of experience. They're trying to maximize what's there and not investing in the community. We don't want him, and at the very least, make them earn the privilege. For a year, they should have to close by 2. At the very latest, no marks for a year, and then maybe they should come back here and ask. But so far, they haven't done the things that they said that they would do.
Sorry, what did you say after close by 2?
They should have to close, no matter what event it is, by 2. At the very latest, during the week, it should be by midnight. And if they have no marks, maybe then they should.
I mean, no bad marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Because
complaints,
last go around.
No, I just didn't hear.
We had a shooting, we had stabbings, we had bottles, we had sex in front of our building, we had it all.
Did you have something you wanted to give out, or you want me to put the file there?
Yeah, you could put it in the file, and here's.
And the next person who wanted to speak,
Yeah. it was
could you
just
stand up and identify?
Stand up.
Stand up and identify yourself, please.
Traffic control, the night that you were open, it was traffic control that kept.
I'm sorry, wait.
Microphone, pick
Everybody
them up.
be listening.
Thanks.
Okay, start again from the beginning.
Yeah, the traffic was like the guys controlling the traffic, move up, I mean. It was the decibel
So
level.
what event are you talking about?
They opened a few days or 2 days to check it out. It was horrible. Nobody in.
Are you specifically referring to when they mentioned Fashion Week?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of other events.
Like the Halloween from last year.
Okay,
I just don't want to step over bodies when I wake up in the morning.
okay, thank you.
I don't want the vomit and the blood. You know, I just have it.
Okay, and go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lacey Johnson, and I live directly across the street, not in Caledonia, but the little building next to it. You know, we're
work in different areas, we need our sleep, you know, we serve the community, sleep is a big issue with us. One of the problems we had was, the streets were never cleaned, like in the morning, you know, there'd be food and, you know, bodily excretions and junk everywhere, and nobody bothered to use condoms. We had no one that we could speak to on a regular basis. We did have weekly meetings. We went on for, it had to be a year. I went to every meeting. And all I heard was how wonderful it was. And I kept saying, no, it isn't. And then, you know, we ended up getting sued for defamation. So this really bothered me because I know once this is approved, that we have no power whatsoever. No need for security is a fairy dream. You know, there has to be lots of security. Ushering people who have been drinking and drinking and drinking. Oh, we have wonderful clientele. I'm sure you do. But when they're drunk, they're drunk. And they need to be gently ushered into whatever transport they're going to be at the pickup spot, very gently, and there got to be lots of them. You know, not sick, there have to be like 15 of them. And usher them gently to where they need to do. Give them lollipops as they're leaving, so they'll be quiet. And tell them, here's your lollipop for good. I use it, I work with kids. I use it when I need them to be quiet.
What
I give
else?
them lollipops. What?
What else?
What else do I have to say? Oh, I'm sorry.
These are also.
Am I talking too much? I'm talking.
No.
These are also people that are coming into the community. These are not residents that are in the community.
I want to say one thing. Somebody mentioned to me, I think it was you, last time, well, you know, this is not purely residential, you know, it's business and residential. Yes, we have many businesses in our area, and the businesses serve the community. This does not serve the community. It doesn't serve the community. So there's a difference between businesses opening that serve us. You know, it's possibly a nightmare for us. I mean, you sound like really nice people, and I like to think, oh, everything's gonna be wonderful. But I've lived this before. And I know that sometimes what people say are not what they mean, or maybe they're just not able to fulfill what they want. So, you know, I'm encouraging everybody to be really careful about this. Because, you know, you're stepping into a potential minefield.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Okay,
Yes.
please identify yourself.
Glenn Johnson, lives across the street. 458/17. I just questioned the wisdom of a business plan that puts a nightclub with this kind of capacity on a residential side street. It's nuts. I don't think anyone really thought this through. I mean, well, One Oak, yeah, it was really great. Everybody loved One Oak. No, they didn't.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody online? I see one hand raised plus 3 others. 4 people.
We have 4 people. The first, we have more than that. We have Liz, Jojo, Tom, Rebecca, and JD Banks.
Okay, I would just like to suggest, looking at our agenda and the time, that we limit our comments to 3 minutes each. Okay.
First. Very good, somebody.
Rebecca, do you want to start?
Am I on here?
Okay, we got Joe.
Hey, how's it going? Just a Chelsea resident over here. I'm on 18th Street. I've got an art gallery, and I used to know the old One Oak guys, and I know exactly what everyone is singing, and there was not executed professionally. I also know Stephen and Amanda and everyone who's behind this project, and I can say that they definitely would be an asset to the community, and I would totally vouch for them to be here. I've known them for a really long time. I grew up in a town that Stephen grew up in, and everything is just always handled correctly. He was my neighbor 10 years ago in Chelsea when he lived above me. Never any issues there either. And you know, I feel like it's just an asset to the community. So I'm happy to put my support behind it. And I know people have their concerns, and rightfully so, but I don't foresee the previous owners' issues getting in the way of. It's a very different thing, and I know them and personally attest to that. So I just wanted to make my voice heard.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Next is Liz.
Hi, I've been a longtime Chelsea resident for about 8 years now in numerous different places around the neighborhood. I've attended some of the Dre's events, and they've always been super fun, super safe. And I've also attended some of these, this old One Oak. I've been there, and I can tell you from what I've experienced there and now, it's a completely different show, and I think it's really cool what they're trying to do by making it a smaller, more intimate setting versus this like 300-person club flying in celebrities all the time, like One Oak of New York City. And, I think it's really exciting to have a spot in the city where we can go and dance and have fun with your friends. And yeah, I support it. I think it's cool and exciting.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca?
No, next is Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, I just wanted to take the opportunity to just, convey just again the differences between a situation or a place like One Oak and Dries. Not only the the management and the owners being just completely different people, but also the clientele and the type of people that are at these events are much different, than what that used to be. I actually live in the Caledonia myself for a year now, and I was there during Fashion Week, and I felt no interruption by anything going on. It seemed like they had everything very well under control. Their security guards were friendly and were directing us and different things like that. But Justin and has been great. He has great experience. He's from Long Island, and I'm from Long Island myself. Overall, Dries is just much different, and I do think it's a huge benefit to the community. So.
Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
Can I just make a comment?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not yet. You have someone else speaking.
Okay.
Rebecca and JD Banks, you have to accept being promoted in order to speak.
And that's just a general rule. We try not to have a lot of back and forth, but have people address the committee.
Thank you.
Rebecca is next, and then JD Banks.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
All right. I have been in the area for about 6 months now. I know that's not very long, however, hear me out. I'd really like to voice my support for the licenses. I do understand the concerns of the residents. However, I have had the pleasure of attending some of the events that the creators have hosted, and I was truly impressed by the atmosphere they created inside, while also maintaining order, which I really find to be difficult in similar settings. I think if you grant them the opportunity to operate, obviously within the appropriate guidelines, I'm confident that it will maintain a standard of respect for the community, for the neighborhood, and I think it will add to the vitality of the area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
JD Banks is next.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, yeah, like some of the others, I'd like to also voice my support for the project. I am really excited to have a place like this in our neighborhood. I live down the street, and there's really no place like this that, we can go late at night. And, I don't think that we should let a couple people that are upset about an old management of a completely different space tear down the opportunity for these people who bought the building, seem to have investment into the community and want to create a new space for us and for young people like myself to enjoy.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks very much. Ellie, anybody else online?
Yes, we have one more. Kenny.
Hey, you guys able to hear me?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I just wanted to voice my support for it as well. I appreciate the concept of a more reservation-based lounge, which seems to be what they're going for. I think it would be something that's slightly different from like a club environment, as seems to be previously experienced. And in that event, kind of a location that is based on what seems to be more exclusivity and more of a lounge type vibe is something that I think I can get behind. That was all I had to share.
Okay. Thank you. All right. This was done. One second.
Yeah.
Valerie, is that it online?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask you one question before we go back? I thought those Fashion Week events, were they the full capacity?
Yeah, so there have been a number of events. Most of them, probably no one here has heard of or seen because they are all handled inside and quiet and they're not a big issue. There was one event that was not, well executed, and that was due to a degree of miscommunications internally about what the event was and how it was gonna go. But that will not be the normal. That was.
Oh, yeah, that was 300 people, not 75.
100%. That was a private event that was not what it was supposed to be, and they were kind of stuck in a funny situation, and it was like one of the first times they ever opened the doors. Since then, they've really dialed it in. There's been a number of events, and these are all legal events, and if there was liquor, they pulled one-off event permits for them. They're not having illegal parties in the space. And a lot of them go unnoticed because they're able to do them internally and no one knows because.
And so all the other events were downstairs.
No, they've been throughout the space. They've been within the space. There were a lot of people.
Wait.
We'll talk about.
The other
No,
events-
we're talking, we have two.
Yeah, the
Thank
other
you.
events is referred to that have gone off unnoticed have all taken place in the lower level.
So they're at 75
Yes,
capacity.
which is what we're discussing.
Okay,
We'll be
and there was one that screwed up.
It was a big miscommunication on a number of fronts, which resulted in what it resulted in. So they've since put contingency plans in place to make sure something like that never happens again. And again, they had just opened the doors for the first times.
Sorry, who's they? I mean, I'm actually confused, but who was they running that? Okay.
Private party, and we won't work that line again, but as Joseph said, it,
Okay.
the Hurricane State.
So you learn lessons from that event. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So just putting this out there, it seems to me that the 75-person lounge downstairs would be okay. Perhaps they want to come back in a year and see about the ground level. I would feel comfortable saying yes to the downstairs, but not yet to the 20 events a year. Me too.
How about fewer events or lesser hours upstairs?
Lesser hours upstairs if they're, and keep downstairs 4 AM, 7 days a week.
I would be okay
So
with
if
downstairs.
there's,
We'll get.
Hold on, well, yeah, let's.
as the conversation has advanced, we've been taking notes. So whatever motion we're gonna have before us, expect a number of stipulations.
Yeah.
But let's hear from the lady.
Okay,
Okay.
but
That,
miscommunication, that's what happens when you have inexperienced operators. It's not the issue of what goes on inside the club, it's the spillage onto the streets. And not one person that was rah-rahing lives on the block.
I think one did identify himself. He said, I live down the block.
Down the block. Where down the block? Is that?
Let's not go into those kind of details.
Okay.
Well, this is Justin, and can I speak for a second? So
Well,
number one.
Sorry, Justin, 1 second. I want to do this orderly. You're done, right? I didn't want to interrupt you. Okay.
This is,
Is it something new or?
Yes.
Okay.
only question, if it turns out to be exactly what one of.
Understood.
And, you know, one of the stipulations, I hope, is a contact person.
Of course.
And
absolutely, we always
we
include
can
that
call instead of calling the police officer.
Yeah.
with a
of course.
telephone number.
Yeah.
Contact person with a telephone
We
number.
have, excuse me, Justin, if you don't mind, we have, actually Justin did provide his direct cell phone number to the management team at the Caledonia, the related management team with whom we met with. And we're willing to do that with anybody that wants.
Well, what
it.
about
So
Chris
the direct-
houses? Did
We're,
you meet with them?
we met with
Yes.
Miguel and we're willing to give, no, Justin met with Miguel as well. And
But
Justin, Miguel.
generally, I mean, I know people want to have a phone number. I don't think a phone number is a good idea. It's not our job to manage your operation.
Understood.
So you should be
course
doing
not.
your
Of
job
course not.
and we don't have to be called.
Of course not.
Of course, there was just a request for it, so just a couple of quick things, there were a number of requests that were made, and I just wanna put on the record that we're happy to stipulate to all of them. Contact person,
Yeah, you have that.
So we're gonna go down there,
Okay.
we'll get there, we'll
All
get
right. I guess I wanna say one thing. I'm gonna try to say this neutrally. If they own the building, they're not gonna go away lightly. I mean, they're gonna have to, I just think it's an economic matter, they're gonna have to pursue this or
Something
sell the
else.
building, yes, or something else. And also, Christine, you know, you've heard this from the SLA. At least the prior commissioner has said, if, you know, if a place has been licensed and is
Yeah.
licensed as a club, it's probably destined to be a
Right.
club,
But I
and you
was-
should be looking for an operator you think you can live with.
But I was with, you know, Inger, which is,
Yeah.
we need to put, you know, guardrails and go slow.
Oh, no,
Right,
no,
so my view is that we need to start like,
Yeah.
I think we are talking about having the club down
Yeah.
there. And maybe that club doesn't go to 4 o'clock, it goes to 2. And then we have some parties upstairs, but you know that the SLA doesn't like that.
No, but
Because
if
they
they,
can control
but at
it,
least if they
right?
stipulate it, I just wanted
Right.
that as sort of background.
Okay.
And I do think
Yeah,
the limitations
that.
on the ground floor operations are a sort of major concession,
Right.
and we can't assume we're gonna get that from the next, if these people sell the building and move on, we cannot necessarily
yeah, but
assume.
we also need to realize that when we did One Oak at the time,
Yeah.
it was a major mistake.
No,
It
okay,
was a major mistake
We're hearing
yeah,
to put
We're
a
hearing.
club,
yeah,
What was there
In that.
before?
right?
What was there before, do you
Nothing.
remember?
Was a
It
manufacturing
was-
thing or
okay,
whatever.
okay.
So putting this on this block was just a major mistake. So now we are
Living with.
in
it,
this
yeah.
situation and we need to manage it, so the
Yeah.
residents.
Also the One Oak, their club operation was at the street level, not with, their, with
It
the,
was upstairs and downstairs.
yeah, but so they had
I think
a lot, much
And
higher
the second thing,
capacity.
and the second thing I'm concerned is that the level of expertise I've heard is not to the level that, you know, operating a club, this is people who have operated in hotels and venues, etc. This is, I don't think we have a team which is as knowledgeable as we could or should be, so I'm a little nervous about that personally.
Okay, so are we ready for, a
well,
motion?
well, I'm not sure what
we
we
are, yeah, I don't know.
We're,
where we are.
So, I mean, so the options, I think, are, you know, obviously, an outright denial. Or trying to come up with some
Oh,
limitations.
yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about the, what Inga was
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
First, the downstairs, what do we want to do on the downstairs,
Okay.
right? And then, what do we want to do on the upstairs?
I just don't know, for the upstairs, my thing is, I don't know if you need 4 AM to begin, like, that, I could work with maybe some numbers before, you know. I mean, there's the occasional bar mitzvah that goes crazy, but you know, other than.
We're talking about your.
No, the upstairs, no.
But
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk about downstairs and then get it settled, and then upstairs, and
Okay.
then get it settled.
Well, I was gonna thought we were gonna want a little fewer, limited hours, at least to start with, on the downstairs for like Monday through Wednesday, but if we don't need that.
I don't think so
I would
downstairs.
do
You would
4
do
AM.
4.
I would do 4 AM downstairs. It doesn't seem to have been a problem It's only 75 people. There's no ticketed events. They're not coming all at the same time.
How many events have you had, in general that you got a permit for since you had the space?
Oh gosh, doesn't?
Doesn't.
Downstairs.
Overworked area,
Downstairs, right? Right.
Since
And
they
you're
did
not
space on-
selling, nobody can walk off the street? I mean, what is the mode of
For the events
operation?
they're having, no, you can't walk off the street, they're all.
But I'm
private.
saying for going forward downstairs.
It'll be a public space.
It's a public space.
So people
Preferences.
can walk in and buy.
It'll be mainly reservation, but.
Heavy preference on
Did you hear that? Mainly reservations.
Right. So I think I'm comfortable with downstairs 7 days a week, 4 AM. It's sub-level. It's,
74 people.
yeah, it's not.
What reservation system are you
It's
gonna
not
use?
too many
Wait,
people.
what?
What is
Second,
that?
sorry.
We are in business. Now.
And all the queuing is inside for the jump, just, I know you, I said yes, you said yes
Yes.
before, I was just reconfirming.
All their
I-
queuing would
yes.
be inside
And is
for-
there
because they have
A
space.
drop off point which is away.
We'll
from
create a
the club?
drop off point for sure.
Yeah, and it's only 75 people. They're not all coming and leaving at the same
I'm
time.
just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
It's 75 people.
75 people is less than, you know, Barracuda on 22nd Street, it's less, it
It's
is,
less than most.
it is less than
places.
on other side streets, I agree.
So I don't think they need a traffic.
I
light for
agree.
that.
So we are good with downstairs?
I'm good with downstairs. Upstairs, I think maybe limit the hours if they're weeknights.
Yeah, that's about.
To midnight.
Yeah.
Weekends, maybe 2.
Yeah,
Friday,
we
Saturday
would
for
not
events.
do, and
No,
maximum.
because all the events are going to be Saturday. Just put it at 12.
Yeah, this is Justin.
Maybe 1 o'clock.
Hold on,
Hold
Justin, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to add one thing.
Justin,
Justin, hold on, please.
Justin, you not interrupt, please.
I would do
So
12
I would
for the
say-
time being.
I would say
I
1
would say
for a
let's get
weekend.
one.
I would do 1 o'clock for a weekend and,
Midnight weekdays.
yeah.
Now we still, and with their proposed 20 a year.
And I would suggest that we kind of look at this as an experiment.
Yeah,
It should be less than
Yeah.
20 a year, right?
And so we have less to start out with the experiment to see what the reality is. Because we know what you say, you know what you want to do, but let's see what the reality
so what about
becomes.
15 a year? I mean,
Or
that's,
12, once a month.
that's
So-
kind of a little.
We'll circle back.
Well, we'll come, yeah, it's just
I
like.
mean,
I give you, I give you the hours.
Yeah, I know, but I think 20 is not that many, it's twice a month.
I don't feel comfortable giving them less because I want them as business or building owners to have the opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, and we're
As long
reducing
as we
their
limit the
hours.
time for it to
Yeah.
impact people that are sleeping, I think that would be
Yeah,
a safer bet for us.
What about the traffic?
For 1 second.
I mean,
Going to be a
for
lot.
for the, they have to figure the traffic out. They have to figure out something for the,
So they
for the
do a
bigger
traffic
events.
study.
Yeah,
And if they, asking them
The
to figure,
reality is that there is nothing to figure. It doesn't work.
What was the
Right.
closed street, like, how, can you explain the closed
How-
street?
I would like to close.
So what-
That
Excuse me.
would, that would not, that
When
would
the,
bother.
when the,
You mentioned a connection to Chelsea Hotel. Who is that? What is that connection?
One of the people is part of the management team,
Because they have big
Yes,
weddings.
liquor license.
We had,
Huge
we had
events.
yeah, but
problems
this
in
is
the beginning.
23rd Street.
No, he
If
just.
they fixed it.
recently-
No. I'm saying we had problems with, when we first opened up.
Sure.
And it's gotten under control. And
Right.
We've had, and they have big events.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people on the
Correct.
side streets in 10th Avenue.
Right.
It's just a couple blocks up. It's 22nd and 20, what is it, 20th and 20?
21st.
21st.
Yeah,
I tell you what didn't work. What
Yeah, what's the
people
traffic?
were saying
Yeah.
is that you know, if you close the street
but I
and
think they
the,
close the streets at the High Line.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this one. 10.
17th, you're talking specifically about 17th Street.
320 people, so, you know, an event, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have 320 people, okay. So, I mean, you close the street at each end, when NYPD would do that.
They don't do it, they figured it out at the
I
High Line
am not
Hotel.
talking about that.
But it's a couple
I'm
blocks
talking-
down, they can do the same
That's on
traffic
an
thing.
avenue.
hold on,
They
please,
go
one at a
up
time.
the side streets.
Let me tell you what was happening on 17th Street.
'Cause
We're not fighting.
I wanna hear what happened on 17th.
Yeah, I'm not fighting you, I'm just
That's what I
saying,
mean,
this
yeah.
is what happened, and what happened was they were closing. When it was really out of control, they closed the street at each end, but then what happened is that what the residents said, which is they couldn't get in and out, and it was really a burden for the residents, okay? But when they didn't close it, then the honking and everything was horrible. And this is 17th Street, is one lane. So as soon as you have 5 cars picking up people, then that's it, you have a huge backup. So that's the way it was working.
That's actually my chief concern.
Yeah.
Because if you look even at Marquee on 10th Avenue.
Right.
When
It's
you get,
10th Avenue.
yeah, it's 10th Avenue, but you get one lane of double parked, of like 5 cars double
Right.
parked. And it blocks all of 10th Avenue.
Yes.
And everyone starts honking.
And then
It's
you
hard to
have the
imagine what
limos
it's like.
double parked,
Yeah.
and here, and you can't go anywhere, and it was just, I spent hours and days on that.
I
So I'm
wouldn't
just
want
sharing with you,
17th Street
I'm
closed.
sharing with you.
Yeah.
The issue is that if there was no traffic issue, I think, you could probably manage the rest. So when you have, what?
Push it to 10, like all the others do.
You don't, unless you close the street.
So-
You can't stop people from coming in the street unless it's closed. You have to close the street, and then nobody can come in, and everybody who wanted to come in, can't come in, right? So pushing it to 12, to 10, that's a discussion we had with the One Oak people to say, let's have a pickup, etc. And it didn't.
Well, how about this? How about, and again, I don't have a lot of experience here. Could you have for the events, I'm not sure it's a security person, a traffic person who basically just asked the cars to move on until,
Forget it.
really?
Can they have somebody checking the IDs for certain parties on 10th Avenue? As a deterrent, so they don't stop in front, so if I'm coming to this party and not saying Amanda's gonna be doing the door, she could say she has the list, they have to be on 10th Avenue. And then they can get a stamp or a bracelet, and then they can go in the club that way.
That sounds reasonable. If you can get that, but if people come in with their limo. And come in front, you can believe that whoever is in front is not going to reject the business, right? And I don't blame anybody, I'm just saying it's a fact of life. I don't blame anybody, they want to have the people coming in, they want to have the business.
I'd like to, a little different, like, a club that's open until 4 AM, that's having people cycle through every hour, people are coming at all different times versus. If it's an event, people are generally gonna show up around the same time, if it is. I understand bar mitzvah is a good example that you chose for obvious reasons, but people are gonna show up at 7 or 8, which will create a lot of traffic, but that's fine, but that's a little different than like. The club on 10th Avenue, which is a zoo by Chelsea Park, because people are coming all throughout the night and it's like. People are triple parked and there's one little lane, right? Like it does feel a little different in that respect.
It could be fine.
Easier
But once the cat is out of the bag, you have zillion of residents. Which are suffering for 10 years. So I feel bad because when we did One Oak and we didn't want to do One Oak, then I felt really terrible for the residents. And we worked together to try to fix it for months and months and months, and we couldn't. So our responsibility here is not to let the cat out of the bag, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
Can we let
if-
the applicant?
Yeah, I've got, we seem to be moving, if we're moving in any direction about traffic. Drop off, pick up on 10th Avenue.
If they can enforce it.
If we can negotiate with it.
And my.
And I realize you're talking as transportation person.
Right, but I
Not a
realize,
BLT
the
person.
point is that I'm nervous because once
Understood.
it doesn't work and the thing is open, it's over.
Okay,
So
we
I
let-
would rather go by increments, so we find out.
That's why I called
And I
it-
think your idea of, booking on 10th Avenue is a great one, but I would also like, I like the
10
hours.
events a year.
But I'd like to have a little less event, and then we see what.
As an experiment.
That's
Okay,
We
I
have-
think well, wait, that's one of their people, so why don't we let,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want Igor to talk, or if you guys wanna talk, or how you
I
wanna do
was just
this.
gonna make a quick comment about some of the private corporate events. One of the clients we're speaking to is Google, which is in the neighborhood. So, we're talking about people who can literally walk from their office to
Two
the
blocks
spaces.
away.
One of the reasons they're sort of.
But do you guys wanna react to any of this? Or do you want-
Yeah, I mean,
So we seem to be, it seems like to me, the major issues are not downstairs or the hours downstairs, the capacity. It's upstairs, not so much the capacity, but the hours and the number of events. And then the big issue, which really is the big issue in my mind, is I think the issue is always what goes on outside the premises, not inside,
So-
particularly with you owning the building. So to me, it's the traffic and the drop off and the noise outside.
Yeah, we're happy to stipulate to a number of things to go right to that. I think it's a great idea if we can set a checkpoint on the avenue. I think that'd be tremendous. To Christine's point, the trick is just being able to enforce it and get people used to that process, which we're happy to undertake to try and maybe to come up with some other creative ways to establish this, to accomplish the same goal. I think it makes a lot of sense. We can obviously overstaff outside to ensure that Christine's right. If a bunch of cars pull up in a row, we can't shove them along. There's people that have to get out. So if we had multiple people outside, they could help facilitate getting people out of cars and getting the cars moving as soon as possible. And just the presence, I think, will also help to keep the honking down because people know that they're moving along and hopefully gives them confidence that things are moving quickly. So we're happy to stipulate to all that, to overstaff outside in an attempt to move traffic along, keep people quiet. We're happy to explore different options for check-in points to ensure that people don't even come down the block if they don't have to. Setting up the Uber checkpoint, all that stuff is good. We're happy to do it. Thank you guys for the thought of downstairs, 4 AM, small space. Thank you, that's important to us. Upstairs, we're happy to reduce the hours upstairs to make it work. We're at this funny point where we thought that the 20 events for the whole year was gonna be an over-the-top concession. So the fact that that's getting a little pushback is a little surprising, but nonetheless, we're happy to take,
Can you do one a month
so we're happy to take.
for a year and then come back?
So we're happy to take a concession on the hours, we're happy to offer a concession on the number. It's finding that balance between the two to let us do what we think we need to do. I think we can knock the number down from 20 certainly. We can do midnight during the week.
Yeah.
On the weekends, the 2 is really important, because as you guys know, 2 o'clock means closed.
Yeah.
Which means you're ending at 1, and if that is the intention, then that gives us the flexibility to close on
Could
time.
you turn off the music at 1? Because you're talking about
Yeah.
anything, right?
So if we knock it down to 1 a month and it's 12 during the week and 2 on the weekends. That we can work with that, at least for the first year to,
Who's closing the music at 1?
that's a little
That's
trickier.
hard if you turn the music off.
Yeah, then the
Yeah,
party's
because
over.
then everyone's gonna leave at the
I
same
think 2
time.
o'clock.
But
Yeah.
12 and 2, 1 a
12
month,
events.
like, just for a year to let you know we
Yeah.
can do it,
Yeah.
that would be, we can work.
Yeah.
And then,
And I guess-
come back.
I guess one thing that,
I would not.
we'll get to in a second.
There,
What-
if there were traffic or closing the street.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one thing to keep in mind about private events is whatever the nature, they're a company or an individual, they're invited guests. So it's not, you're not gonna get a
Yeah,
huge party and crowd that is coming to the latest
drop
hot
off,
club.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Right, they will be,
That's what,
they'll either be corporate people coming to a corporate event or friends and family coming to a wedding or a bar mitzvah.
And we very
hopefully less
specifically did
drama
not come
between
here
Yeah.
with a 375 person capacity nightclub application.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up, but we're here with you once
Can
more.
we also stipulate
Could you
that
speak to,
you-
could you speak, sorry,
Hey,
speak to us.
Can
Talk
we
to us.
also stipulate that they will follow through and meet with us?
Absolutely.
Oh,
To
God.
go through these plans, a walkthrough,
Yes,
a do-over,
yes.
Absolutely.
input. If I'm gonna be stuck, I'd rather work with you. Because otherwise,
this is
I
yes.
get
Yes.
guaranteed
Yes,
they'll
we
miss
heard-
it.
we heard it, yes.
Yes,
We heard it, yes.
All right, but let's, just so we're clear what this is, do you have a block association or who should they be meeting with? Is it your building or?
Okay.
Okay, well, no,
Well, we
You guys are in
we have-
California, right?
On the Caledonia, we have members of the Caledonia management here.
We have other. So that should be the.
Okay.
We have-
all right, so, okay, so let's do this. Before you all leave, can you really trade contact information? Because I know they did try to have this event, which was sort of
We
an
set up an
open
open
house.
house and no
And I don't know how you didn't get invited, but if you.
I got an email saying I would be notified, but
Okay.
never got
All
a
right.
follow-up.
But before everyone leaves, when you go outside, so we can move on, all right.
Say one more thing.
Yes.
Alan and I actually went to the Caledonia when we went to look at the space before the last meeting. And we talked to like 4 different people at the Caledonia and they had no idea what we were talking about. So the Caledonia staff.
Well, who's here?
Should
So
know
what did
more.
you, how did you communicate to the residents that there was a?
And your staff.
Right.
Well, there was a sign is left at the desk
When?
about the meeting, a little over a week ago.
Yeah, this was before the last meeting.
No, the last meeting, we've acknowledged
Yeah,
that
that was
notice
crazy.
was full.
There was nothing.
There's no
And you have-
disagreement.
Oh, no, we didn't even come to the last meeting, it's two months
2
ago.
months ago.
And we posted a dozen notices.
Right, but we went to the Caledonia and no one
And
knew
do you
anything.
have a system at the Caledonia where you have like a building net or something like that, where you put something on
Yeah,
the
building
internet and
net.
everybody
Not
can see it?
really. No.
Okay,
No, you're not.
maybe you should get that.
Well, tell the staff.
We're happy to close the loop here.
They knew
We have a
nothing.
number of signatures of support for people from Caledonia, but we're happy to close the loop and get everyone who's here's contact
Yeah.
information to make sure the open house we had every intention of doing, if anyone was interested, we can really do now. And-
All right, so we
So
got.
we're gonna
Okay, so
start
let's-
So I think,
Frank,
no, I think the open issue is, do we need to hear from Igor? Okay. I think the open issue, so events 12?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the open issue then, the hours, midnight and 2 or?
Midnight.
What's-
Yeah,
Sunday.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Friday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Right.
Okay, people
but
basically,
you're getting your 4 AM on the club downstairs.
Okay.
That's pretty.
are you guys okay with that? Now, one thing is I think, if I get this right, a liquor license can only have 1 time on it. So it's gonna be 4 a.m., but you can't do 2 times, I don't think. 4
No, but
a.m.
there could be stipulations on the license as to how we're supposed to operate.
Okay, all right,
For the 2 separate.
yeah,
times.
okay.
And you're
So
going to talk.
there'll be 2 license certificates, one for upstairs, one for
Oh, there
downstairs.
will be.
So there-
Yeah, and then put it,
That's
put it.
all.
One license, there's a primary license, there's an ad bar license.
Right,
Okay,
thank you.
all right.
That's important to.
And then you, the drop off and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, let's go through
And-
this.
and-
transportation.
If we
Okay.
talk about, transportation, the drop-off points, we
Or
can
the
talk about it
special
now
events.
and have it in the motion, but if we would like it in writing,
Like a traffic man.
a traffic management before the full community board meeting,
Well, actually, we'd like it by, what's it?
November 25th.
Okay,
So when we have the full community board meeting, we can present it.
right,
Sure, we can do sort of a basic traffic plan, but we will do something more detailed based on the
No,
conversations we've had here.
Okay.
Drop off.
Yeah, okay,
Alright, and
so.
this-
all right. Sorry, you folks may wanna wait, so we're gonna summarize and try not to talk, because this mic picks up everybody. All right, so what I have general tips is that, in no particular order, they're not in order of importance. There'll be no, ticket events or outside promoters. You'll develop a traffic management plan and submit it to the board by November 25th. And that will include, among other things, a traffic drop-off point on 10th Avenue. And sufficient security, or traffic management personnel, to sort of ensure that possible, the traffic is clear on 17th Street. You'll give contact information to the buildings, residents, anyone who's interested, and you'll have regular meetings as requested with, the groups of residents. And as I said, if you all exchange contact information when we leave here. Then downstairs capacity will be 75. You will be primarily reservations, and there'll be no queuing for customers outside. That'll all be done inside the premises. And that's 4 a.m. every night. And we'll have the numbers that are in your STIP form, but that's 75 or less. Upstairs will be limited to private events only, 12 events per year. To end no later than midnight on Sunday to Thursday, 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
Sorry, but I don't mean to harp on this one issue, but I actually just to confirm, if there is an event happening upstairs, you still have room inside for people to queue for downstairs. It will not to interfere.
Okay, so the queuing, sorry, you're right, the queuing is
It's
a general step.
Sorry, I know,
And Joe,
I'm coming back to that issue, but.
Get these typed out and run them by you because they're.
Well, then you are not going to be
What?
queuing outside.
No, no,
You're
no,
upstairs.
no.
You can go upstairs.
Everything's gonna be.
Everything's
always gonna be
inside, queuing inside.
Anything else that
They
overlooked?
might wanna put on their website, under where the direction of the location is.
Yes.
Please pick up on 10th Avenue or drop off at
Yeah.
the, so.
On
you-
10th.
Yeah, I would put that in security
We'll put
plan,
that in the draft.
that and also signage inside, you know, asking people to, you know, maybe even a specific address or something.
Specific address or point, yeah.
You know, have your car get you here. Anything else? Anybody? Okay.
So do I hear a motion to incorporate all these stipulations?
Yeah.
And there's a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
What about the-
Opposed? Carries left.
Yeah, you have to leave early.
For share leave early. All those opposed? Abstain, person not eligible? Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all for, thank you everybody for
Thank you.
coming out. But please, before everyone leaves, you just go down the hall, so we don't need. So we can, Joe, can you
Joe,
take
do you mind taking it out?
everyone outside?
Okay, item number 4 is postponed till December meeting.
This is, yeah.
And we now, it's 8:20 and we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yes. No,
7 applications left, and then we move on to the dining outside.
Okay.
So let's move on. Item number 5. Oye, please. Item number 5, 330 West 38th Street, Shift Midtown LLC. Okay, there's hours of operation, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Thursday, and Friday.
And this is,
12 p.m. to 1
and
a.m.
this is the catering license, which.
Yes.
I think people know that is, it's what we were talking about for upstairs, this is solely, it'll all be private events.
Right.
It's not things people can walk in from the street to. Hi, welcome.
Thank
Haven't seen you for a while, Terry.
How you been? Yeah, I had my hip replaced, so now I'm back in
Ah.
action.
Okay, good.
This is Shift Midtown. It is a catering license, and as you said, no one walks in off the street. This is just private, pre-booked events. We will not have promoters. All bookings will be in-house. It is located at 330 West 38th Street. It's between 8th and 9th Avenue. The occupancy is 127, and that is between the ground floor, which holds 74, and the mezzanine, which holds 53. There is no outside area at all in this application. The hours are as was read to you. It will be background music with a DJ on occasion. You have the security report, the sound report, the email notifications, the postings, the diagrams, the menu, and photos in your packet in front of you. I am here with Kim Zhang and Bruno Saavedra, who are the principals. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer them for you right now.
Yeah, just a couple technical things first, you didn't circle any music on the form, what type of music?
I
did you
think
have
we
there?
circled it. I don't think it just came out with the lightness of it, but it was background and DJ, as I just stated.
Okay, and what kind of building is this? What's above the space? Commercial?
Commercial, yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I have.
And as you see, it's been soundproof. There is soundproof report there. It tells you they use state-of-the-art materials in the soundproofing. There have been a couple of one-off events at the location without any difficulties. And again,
Okay.
if you, I'm
All
sorry.
right, thanks, let's see, Christine?
So there won't be any sale of tickets, or you are selling tickets, or it's only private events?
It's only private events. For example, a corporation throws a Christmas party,
Private.
somebody throws a a wedding or a
I got
birthday.
it. And the maximum capacity, I was a little confused about the numbers because the numbers are the one you gave us, but then when I went online to some other websites, they were talking about a larger capacity.
I don't know about what other website you looked at. The occupancy is going to be 127, 74 on the ground floor, 53 in the mezzanine. Then there's a back of house in the cellar, which will only be 4 employees.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's your occupancy.
Okay. And I would say the same discussion we just had. And I would, first of all, there is a lot of residences all around, not in that building, but just on the building right and left, etc., including my apartment. And no, but I want to say that there is now the street is 1 lane of traffic. And if there are pickup and deliveries, I mean, it will be important to have people outside at the exit time or coming time. I mean, I don't know how the events are organized. If everybody comes in at, I don't know, 8, it's probably not a big deal. But if everybody is leaving at 11, and there are a lot of cars or taxis waiting, we would like to avoid to have honking.
We will agree if it works for you to put somebody outside to expedite all the cars. One of the benefits I think you have here is that, like I said, the ground floor is 74, which holds most of the events. The mezzanine is 53 for a smaller event. Rarely will there ever be 2 events at the same time. So the numbers are not nearly the numbers you were talking about on your previous application. So, and these hours, as you see, are far less than the other place. They're I think quite reasonable.
No, I don't have a problem. I'm just saying that, the people who live on 38th Street, they are exposed to a lot of traffic during the day, a lot of honking. And I think the last thing we want is to have something at midnight starting to honk like crazy.
Yeah, we will have the.
So if we have 1 or 2 people out there, that would be helpful.
Okay,
Yes,
so Steve and Terry, with this work, a step that says applicant will provide on-street personnel, expedite traffic management on West 38th Street.
Minimum of 2.
Yeah, because we have security outside anyway. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Right, 1 or 2.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I think they should have 2 people out there if it's
Well,
after 10.
Christine Black said 1 or 2.
No, I mean, 2 is
better.
fine.
One person can't do
But
it.
again, just understand.
Which area they are using.
Yeah.
We'll have 1 person for expediting the traffic, okay? There'll be another person outside at the door to make sure everything's going.
That's fair.
smoothly.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Also,
They
because
can't do
the
both.
sidewalk is really narrow.
Yeah, they
So,
can't do both.
where are all these people?
Yeah.
Right, so they will have their different jobs.
Okay.
Anybody else from the committee? Billy, do we have anybody from the community on that?
No, there's no one.
Thank you.
Okay,
We have a motion with that
Yes.
additional step.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible, abstaining? Okay, passes.
It was nice seeing everybody. Have a very, very nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks, you, Terry.
Good seeing you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Item number 6, 85 10th Avenue, Verde, New York LLC, hours of operation 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. Okay, do we have the applicant here?
Yes, we do.
Max, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, CB4. Max Bookman, Pizetsky and Bookman. Nice to see everybody again. I want to welcome your newest BLP member. Welcome to the show. You picked the wrong committee to be on. Our firm is one of the frequent
The
flyers.
wrong committee. I thought you liked this committee, Max.
I like it. I just don't know why you all volunteer for it. If I was on a committee for it, I would think, I don't know, social services or something. It's nice to see everybody again. The next three cases are mine. This one is Verde. It's on 85 10th Avenue across from Chelsea Market. It's the same.
My dispensary. No, sorry, Max.
It's the same, though. It is the same building that, if you think back to last month, that you approved Tao Group's new location. So this is next door, one unit downtown, one unit south of the Tao Group location. So we're on the 15th Street side of the building, which is even better because we are further away from the nearest residential unit, which is the Caledonia. It's facing a little, little pocket park that's,
They all walked out.
Yeah. And this, what used to be, was this where the Joe Orchestra place was?
So this does have a history of licensing. For a long time, it was a Tom Colicchio restaurant. And then from 2017 to 22, it was a place called La Tailleur, which also had late night hours. It was a French restaurant. So that's the location. With me is Alex. He's one of the founders and owners. Experienced restaurateur, many years of experience. He and his group are active internationally. This would be their first New York location, but this concept Verde, they have three other locations, one in Paris, one in Saint-Tropez, and one in Dubai. And he has other restaurants outside of this Verde concept as well. A place called Mamma Mia in Paris and another place in Dubai called Cuckoo. The Verde concept that they're bringing over here to New York, it's I probably mispronounced it. It's a contemporary Mediterranean concept with a lively atmosphere, high-end clientele. So a few of the basics, big kitchen, full restaurant menu, open through closing, seated table service only. There is a bar. That bar is for seated tables, bar service and for waiting for your table if you got there early. As you heard, as Bert read, we're looking for 4 a.m. Thursday to Saturday, 1 a.m. the rest of the week. Opening 11 all days. This is the type of place, it's a lively restaurant, no doubt about that. Type of place for celebrations, birthdays, anniversaries. Reservations strongly encouraged. From a practical perspective, you're going to need a reservation unless it's, Monday night. And they're going to make a big effort to encourage reservations. There is an interior vestibule, which is very helpful. No operable windows, no outdoor space, no sidewalk or roadway cafe, no third-party promoters, no ticketed events. We got a sound study done, and they evaluated the existing construction, including the existing commercial grade windows, the masonry facade, the sound attenuation properties that has. Our sound engineer is here. They could speak to that, but the conclusion of the sound study is that given the lack of operable windows, given even under conservative conditions, there's not going to be, the sound will be sufficiently contained inside. They also did a transportation analysis, which gives a good general context of the area. They make recommendations that we agree to follow, including having on-street personnel to manage drop-offs and pickups, which they're willing to stipulate to.
Max, did you send us those things or can you? I don't have them here, so I'm not sure if they.
We did send them to you we sent the main packet by your deadline. We submitted the sound and transportation study probably 2 days after your deadline. I heard your admonition earlier today.
Okay.
Take it to heart.
All right.
But we do have those things, yes. And
okay, so Nellie will probably check with you to make sure we have them, but otherwise we'll have them. So what's going to happen there between 2 and 4 a.m.? Because I'm looking at the floor plan, which is very much a restaurant. I mean, do you envision people having dinner there at 2 a.m.? Are people going to be sitting at those tables drinking? You're not going to change the floor plan, right?
They're not. No, the floor plan is. I understand the floor plan is critical. They're not changing the floor plan. I mean, look, in their restaurants internationally, they have a late night dining crowd. You can question whether that crowd exists in New York, but they're looking for it. And so what their goal is and what their expectation is for that period of time is for their dinners, which are long, is having people who sat at one being able to not be hurried up by the time they finish. In all reality, I mean, between us, I don't think they're going to be having a lot of activity by 4 a.m., but they don't want to be rushing people out. And,
Okay.
and
I understand that. I was just curious. We can move along.
Yeah.
we emailed the block.
What?
You start all your meals at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're right, it's very hard to find a place to eat after the theater, even in Hell's Kitchen these days. All right, I didn't have any other comments.
Okay, anybody else in the committee? Tina?
The only thing I was concerned about was the DJ and the apartments up above.
There's Google, it's Google
Nothing.
Office space.
It's just Google Office.
All
Yeah.
Google.
Withdraw.
It's all Google.
It's all Google. There's never been noise there. There's never been a problem there. It's.
Never had complaints.
Okay,
Any of
that's
you.
my question.
Facilities. Okay, anybody else? Nelly, do we have anybody from the community out there?
No, there's no one.
Okay, thank you.
Motion.
And that was a second. All those in favor?
Done.
Aye.
Opposed? Person not eligible, abstaining? Okay. Now, Max, you said you also have,
the next
maybe
two,
seven
which
and
are
eight?
kind of related.
Okay,
Alex, you
so
can.
we have 653 11th Avenue, the rooftop. I understand that you had conversations.
Well,
Go ahead, Matt.
They're actually, again, for context, it's a hotel. There are actually 3 licenses here. We approved one last month,
Right.
which was the standard hotel license for room service and mini bars and service in the hotel. There's a restaurant on the ground floor, which is one of the ones Max has tonight. The first one, number 7. And then there's a rooftop lounge, which has both indoor and outdoor space, which is number 8. But there's separate licenses.
Okay.
And as I understand it, Max, those 2 spaces are being operated by someone different than the people who got the hotel license last month, right?
That's right, Bert. And so I know you'll have to do 2 separate motions and resolutions on this. I'm just going to, since there is significant overlap, I'm just going to sort of address both in one set of remarks. I was happy to answer your questions on either. So to Bert's point and to Frank's point, this is the Inc. 48 Hotel. Yes, you did 2 months ago approve the hotel license, which is exactly the way Frank just described it. I told you then that there were these 2 other licenses, and I said that we'd be back to you once the hotel found their F&B operator for those 2 spaces. And they found him. His name's Gil Rubenstein. He's here tonight. You know him, or if you don't know him, you know his places because they're both in your community district, and they're both in hotels in your community district. So
we used to meet in one of them.
I miss the hotel. Those were great meetings, and I wish we'd all go back to it. That was always really fun.
This committee met there? Oh, that's
This committee met there.
Oh, that's so fun.
This
All the
committee used to
applicants
be-
could get their own booths. It's great.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
so great. We get to have cocktails over.
This committee used to meet in all sorts of great places, but Yotel was one of my favorites.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Intercontinental Hotel for a long time, which was really nice too. It was great. I miss it now.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I digress. So this,
I started that.
so one of his locations is Green Fig and Green Room at Yotel. The other, he just actually recently got out of it, but it's a Chelsea Table and Stage and Sandbar Rooftop at the Hilton Fashion District Hotel. So he is a experienced operator of, in Community Board 4 of restaurants in hotels, and the last one I mentioned actually has a rooftop also. So this is sort of exactly the operator you want. This space, or I should say this space, both of these spaces, the downstairs restaurant and the upstairs rooftop, since 2009 roughly have been under the same license. The Press Lounge and Print Restaurant, it's closed right now. Back in 2009, you guys didn't do STIPs the way you currently do them. From my bio, I could see that in some point in a few years ago, they stipulated to 2 a.m. So that's in the same ballpark of what we're looking for. Downstairs, neighborhood American restaurant, serving American cuisine, hotel guests and the general public, 3 meals a day, closing at 2 a.m. No outdoor space, no sidewalk cafe, no roadway cafe. Upstairs, separate concept.
Oh, wait a second,
Wait, just do one.
let's do one at a time.
Fine.
Because I'm totally.
Yeah, so, they did meet with, Elka Fears and the West 47th Street Block Association, who sent us a quite detailed email. Their only request for indoors are ones that are already there, that be background music only, except for DJs at private events, but that's already in the application. And other than that, I don't have any comments on either of these. Anybody?
Was there also, Max, some kind of agreement on no queuing on 11th Avenue?
That's for the rooftop, I believe.
The rooftop?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're doing inside.
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we're not gonna have queuing for either location.
Yeah. Anybody from the committee on inside Nelly for the ground floor restaurant, on, item 7?
There's no one.
Okay. All right, so why don't we take a vote on that?
Okay, is there a motion for item number 7?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, present not eligible, okay.
Christine has a little history with this rooftop too. Not as bad as one of.
Okay, so let's move on to A.
But we did go, I went to a few meetings on this one. One of it was before my time.
Well, so that makes me nervous, but so the upstairs, Elke had, concerns. Her block association had concerns. Gil had met with her. And he sent her a detailed email with his, with proposed stipulations geared towards addressing both of those concerns. I don't know if Elke is here tonight to speak on it, but you, Bert and Frank, you got an email from Elke stating that those concerns were met. So you have the email. I'm happy to summarize the two stipulations if you want or not.
No, I could do that, but I think there's some inconsistency with page 6 of your stip form and what Gil was discussing with the block association. So I just want to get the stip form. Do you have page 6 in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there's a question about, will alcohol service only be via seated food service? And you said yes, but I gather from the discussions with the block association, that should be no. You're gonna have some standing events, correct?
Yeah, that's fair to say. So, I mean, I guess it's yes, but not during standing events.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna make that no. And then I believe you want to have some background music out there, right? Because you said there'd be no amplified music.
Yeah, I know you've had this question for years. We twisted ourselves into knots on this one, trying to remember what you mean by amplified music. I mean, there is no, I think maybe we confused ourselves. There is no, we're not proposing any, live music or DJ out there, but we are looking to have recorded background music.
We mean anything that requires electronics to be heard.
Right, I was trying to imagine what wouldn't be amplified music, like
An acoustic.
Well, we should probably just say amplified sound, but
yeah, because then I figured you don't like that either.
You do want amplified music.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Elke stipulations, and again, well, what we heard from in this email, Max, and just to see if you agree with it. Breakfast so there's an indoor and an outdoor space on the roof. So you agree that breakfast will be served only indoors? Max?
Sorry, I was pulling that up. Gil, is that right?
Yeah, that's it's more of an amenity for the hotel guests. That's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess the Block Association was talking about large events on the east and north side of the rooftop. And the proposal seems to be that for events after 9 p.m., the maximum size would be 50 guests. Maximum. Well, first of all, yeah, maybe you should tell us a little about this. So, are you?
Yeah.
if you have private events after 9, there'll be 50 guests only. And in the southwest area.
Yeah, so that's right, Frank. So if there are events after 9, those events will be subject to 2 limitations. One is that they will be limited to 50 people in order to keep them small. And 2 is that locationally, they will be limited to the portion of the rooftop that we indicated in our email to Elke, which is sort of an overlay of the floor plan that we gave you. If you don't have that email with the overlay, we'll give it to you. But that location on the rooftop is the location that is furthest away from any residential building. So the idea is to keep those events in the furthest corner of the rooftop from any residential building. And those 2 limitations were satisfactory.
Okay, so I don't think we've got the floor plan, so if you could send us the marked up floor plan. So as I understand this, what this is talking about are private events like cocktail parties where people might be standing around.
That's right. The idea, yes, that's right. The idea is this is typically in its general operation going to be a seated restaurant, but there will be private events, and when there are private, there could be people standing, like you just said, like a cocktail party.
Okay, so can we have a stip that aside from these private events with these limitations, everything else will be seated service?
Well, I guess there's a middle category though that I think would be extinguished by what you just said, which is private events before 9 o'clock could also be standing, and they would not be subject to those limitations.
Okay, so after, so wait, other than private events, will everything be by seated waiting service?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one step. Actually, that's probably the only one we need.
Yeah, because the private events.
And then the private
And the
events.
location.
Yeah, no, other than private events, everything will be seated.
Right.
For private events, after 9 PM, they're limited to 50 and it's in the designated southwest location.
That's right.
And by implication, that means earlier private events can be bigger and don't have to be seated.
That's right. And Elke understood that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had, this is where the queuing issue came up first. So maybe you or Gil can summarize sort of what your proposal is for on-street queuing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a brief summary. If there's anything Gil thinks I left out, he could add it. But basically, the concern was the way that the prior operator operated and that there was queuing associated with their operation. And Gil brought some facts to her attention to distinguish our proposed operation from the prior operation in ways that are designed to reduce queuing. So those added facts, those representations were critical. But as far as actual commitments beyond sort of the facts, of our application, it's add a dedicated staffer to manage any outdoor standees after 9 PM on the street. And that staffing ratio will be adequate. In other words, it'll be based on the ratio of 1 staff member to 30 guests. Gil, is there anything you?
And that's every night.
Gil, is that every night?
Yes. Yeah, that's every. So we don't see it as an issue, but if it is an issue, we're committing to staff accordingly, regardless of the day of the week. So daily,
Right.
if after
So
9
Gil,
PM.
I'm a little confused. Are you committing in advance to do it to avoid the issue, or are you saying it's only if it becomes an issue?
He's saying we're committing.
No.
He's saying we're committing in advance. What he just said inartfully is that we don't think there actually is going to be queuing based on our own operational vision, but he understands that is a concern that the Block Association had. So recognizing that concern, he is committing in advance to the stipulations I summarized.
Okay, so that'll be, and these are people on the street level, right?
That's right, sidewalk.
Yes.
Okay, so after 8 PM, you'll have 1 staff person on the street per 30 guests.
9 PM, we said.
9 PM, sorry. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I see,
I think, did you see anything else?
No, Inga hasn't had.
Yeah, no, I think that's everything I had.
Okay, Inga?
So I'm not So two things, I'm not familiar with this rooftop, amplified music, 50 people, we all know what happens. I don't know how close they are to people, residents, but it seems they're close, because there were problems in the feet pass. And then it does say DJ, but that's not for outside, right?
I'll take those backwards. So there is, so on the rooftop, what we're calling the rooftop has indoor and outdoor portions of it.
Yeah,
No DJ on the outdoor portion of the
and
rooftop.
all doors will be closed when there is a DJ inside,
Yes, that's your standard stip, and we agree to that.
their garage doors. Those are, so those all have to, so everything has to be shut tight.
I don't know how it's gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't know,
How that's gonna work.
I don't know, I don't see that working.
I don't see that working, and
We-
Neither.
I know that we've had problems with amplified music, even if it's background music. It still makes people talk louder.
So
Well,
I
then
think
let's
Gil,
try to break this.
yeah.
Let's
So
try to focus
So
this.
those are my two
Yeah,
things.
so there's
if I may,
inside,
Well, let Frank summarize the
and let me
issue.
just,
sorry.
so people understand the layout, there's an indoor space, but they wanna have background music and a DJ. And it does have garage doors, if you will, that create this indoor-outdoor environment. In addition, they want what they're calling background music outside.
No.
And so there are the issues, what can be inside, what can be outside, and do we want to somehow contain the inside? Those are really the three issues.
And before
now-
Gil,
So Frank, if I may.
and before Gil addressed it, I just wanted to, address Inga's point. This is a very high rooftop. It towers above. We gave photos to show you, what it looks like from the rooftop. I know that's just one, that doesn't solve every issue. I understand that, but I know that is one factor you consider. It's not like someone's bedroom is right there. But go ahead, Gil.
So if you refer to, I think it's on page 14, there's the diagram that kind of identifies the areas, the indoor area and the outside area. And there's double doors that lead to another sort of room that has that garage door. And what we're stipulating to is that the DJ will only be in the indoor part with those double doors locked. So there should be no sound pollution, if you will, to the outside whatsoever.
You're talking about what we're calling the sunroom on the plans.
Yes.
Sunroom is actually
Okay.
so what you should all see here on our floor plan exhibit. The first page of the floor plan exhibit says rooftop 15th floor. You see some yellow highlighting. The yellow highlighting shows you the indoor portion of the premises. But what Gil is describing is sort of that top left square there within the yellow highlighting, right under where it says garage door, is labeled sunroom in handwriting. And what so Gil is saying is that the garage door gets you into this sunroom, but that's sort of, it's indoors, but it's sort of not indoor because you can get even more indoor by going through that set of double doors on the right side of the sunroom to get really indoors. And that's where, to the extent there's ever DJ, that's where the DJ is going to be. So you have two sets of protection.
Okay,
And
so
it's-
Max,
and it's
what do we
labeled.
call the room where the DJ can be?
The main dining room.
Okay, so we'll have a stip that says the DJ can be only in the main dining room and not in the sunroom or
Yes.
outdoors, and doors
Yes.
to main dining room will be closed whenever there's a DJ.
That's the
Okay.
intention, yes.
Okay, so now we have the issue of the, I guess, background music outdoors.
But wait,
But
a clarification. On the right side of the main, I see a bunch of double doors. Does that open to the outside?
They do open to a sort of, currently it's a tented area, but we can include in the stipulation, they're always closed, but we can include those
They need to
doors
be
as being
always
closed.
whenever
Yes,
there is
absolutely.
music. Not just
Yes.
DJ, but whenever there is music,
Okay,
right?
are you okay with that,
Yes.
Gail, whenever there's
Yes,
music
yes,
inside?
yes.
Right,
Okay, good,
right.
thank you.
And then the garage door need to be the same way.
Yeah,
It needs to be closed whenever there is music inside,
Even if it's
amplified
background.
music
Yeah.
inside,
Even
So-
background.
in the sunroom.
Gail and Max, what people are asking is that when you have music inside, that the doors and windows be closed. And so if it's only in the main dining room, you keep that closed. And then I don't know, we have to talk about how we handle the sunroom, but let's deal with the main dining room. Are you okay with keeping those doors
Let's say
closed
yes.
whenever
We're
you
okay
have
with the
music.
main dining room. We're gonna have to talk about the sunroom.
Okay, let's talk about.
But you're okay with the main dining room?
Yes.
Okay, and the sunroom now?
All right, so look, if the sunroom was completely, if the sunroom didn't exist and it was completely outdoors, we would have just agreed to the same, you would have wanted this, just the same stip that we just agreed to, which is that, you know, doors must be closed. That door to the right of the sunroom, if that just, you know, if that just led to outside, you'd want us to stip that we would keep that door closed whenever there is any music going on inside. The fact that we have the sunroom is an added protection, you know, in that it creates this additional set of walls in walled environment, at least on three sides, to create sound barriers. I don't think we should be required to stip that that garage door also needs to stay closed whenever there's music inside, because there's always going to be music inside. At minimum, they're going to have recorded background
Max,
music.
I sort of agree with you, Max. It comes down to whether we're gonna be okay with outdoor music. But I agree the sunroom and the outside should essentially be treated the same, because if you have outdoor music, it doesn't matter if there's music in the sunroom too.
Well, I mean, I would say there is a difference in the sense of you could say, okay, on the outside, we are going to have something really controlled,
Okay.
very low, very
Or nothing.
small, you know, the worst case, very small thing. But then when you are in the sunroom, you're going to have your normal music. And
See, I assumed it was
so
gonna be.
I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
can see there could be a different
Yeah.
operation.
Max, what's the music in the sunroom?
Yeah, so I'm going to ask Gil that in a second, because I see the point that you just made, Frank, and Christine, basically together, the sum of your points, which is that, like, we should probably be thinking about the sunroom as part of the outside. And if we are going to stip to quiet, very limited speakers outside, which I think you're going to hear Gil in a minute say that's the plan, and he can elaborate on that, then it seems to me that makes sense to have that in the sunroom as well.
Yes.
So Gil, can you
And then
elaborate?
you can have the doors open.
Yeah, so I feel comfortable with that. I am treating it as sort of that buffer room, the sunroom, being sort of a flex room for an outdoor use. But as far as stipulations are concerned, we can treat the sunroom as an outdoor space.
Okay,
in order
and how do you
to
want to characterize the music, or
Yeah, could you
what are you
describe-
proposing?
Yeah, elaborate, Gil, on how on the music that you plan on having outside,
Okay.
especially in terms of.
So first of all, I want to point out to the page 22, the sound engineer that we've used to put limiters. It's the same limiters that we've done in the other venues as well, to keep that music in a conversational level. As far as type of music, it's curated DJ music that we have a DJ that we work with in the other locations, and it's sort of a chill vibe music. Obviously, during private events, we will we'll change it to what the hosts of the events may want to choose it to, but overall, it's chill vibe music.
Okay, so your proposal though is to limit the sound to the levels that are in your sound report, correct?
For outside.
For outside.
Yes, correct.
So we could again, if people are okay with any kind of outdoor music, we could say that music outdoors and in the sunroom will be limited by the parameters set out in your acoustic report. Okay.
I just want to emphasize. I mean, you know, England talked about there being complaints in the past, but I mean, you know, from the conversation that Gil had with Elke, the major complaint was more about voices than music, and the proposal that Gil made concerning that was satisfactory to her. Now I know she's not the CB, I get that, but you know, the source of the complaints was satisfied with the proposal. You know,
I think JD, who is on the block, so on the community board, may have been at this meeting. I'm not sure, but he is on the community board. He usually goes.
So the proposal was to limit the number to be seated after 9 o'clock, right? That was the idea.
So, okay.
Right.
For public events, everyone's gonna be seated. For private events, before 9 PM, people can be standing, but only for private events. After 9 PM, private events can have to be limited to 50 people and on the southwest.
And seated.
And just to add,
Oh, not seated.
Not seated.
Well,
They can walk around.
but limited to 50
Limited to
people
50.
and in that area.
in the corner where it's away from
Doesn't
us.
fix the,
No.
the voice,
No, it
because when
doesn't
people
fix the
are
voice.
going
The
around,
block association.
that's when people are talking much louder.
They're,
When
you've
they are
got
sitting,
background music, they're
Right.
standing having their
Well,
coffee.
look, I mean, I was worried about this.
right,
This came from the block association.
yeah, but I mean, the block association is not necessarily an
They don't
expert
know.
on sound.
But.
No, I know, but I mean.
So I'm just for their own good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thinking was, it's 50 people. And again, I'm nervous about this too, but I'm sort of relying on them, who are pretty restrictive generally. But the thinking is, it's 50 people and they're in the corner where I think we can rely on the block association to say where it's gonna be like least disturbing. But again, I'm not saying to go with that, I'm saying that's what they were.
No, I got it.
Also, I mean, look, it was an innovative compromise, recognizing that this is a hotel where there's going to need to be some, ability to have some private functions, and with an operator who knows how to operate rooftop spaces in hotels, which in your community district, which I think he should get some amount of credit
At least
for.
after a while. Was Gil at the hotel from the start?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
No,
God.
so I worked those issues out after the previous operators,
Very
as
well
you
you
know,
worked
so
them.
just.
No,
He was brought in to
know,
fix those issues.
You see the
Yeah, we
importance of
fixed.
the doors and windows issue. 'Cause
Yeah,
that was a big-
absolutely.
That was a big issue in Yoto, was the sound coming out from inside.
You have not heard about the hotel since 2016,
No,
or
that's
at least
right.
January 4th, so,
complaints.
So I have a question now, which is the hours of operation.
Oh, wait, one more thing on music, before you go to that, Christine, sorry. Max, you circled live music on the STIP form, and we didn't talk about that. Is that for real?
Gil, why don't you tell them what your vision is for live music?
Yeah.
Frank, it's only to have the ability in that indoor space to activate the space. If it's a piano, we specifically said up to 3. As you know, we do a lot of entertainment in the Yotel venture at the Greenwood 42. So we do have some synergy, and we do get requests, and it's more of an off-season activation that we would do. But
Okay,
it's not.
So we can say
not ticketed events. They're not ticketed events. It's a background type of scenario to activate the space. Sorry.
We can say it'll be limited to the main dining room only.
Yes.
Doors and windows closed. And can we have it end by midnight? What midnight?
Let's talk about the other.
The live music.
You don't
Yeah.
have to do.
Okay.
That was a yes?
It's a yes if that's
Sorry, what is he saying yes to? What was the question on the table?
Sorry.
When we can, if live music will end by a specified hour earlier than your closing time.
Okay, Gil, that's the question. What's your answer?
If midnight will satisfy the community board, then we will do it.
Yeah, we have
I'm agreeing to that.
But is that, do we have to do that?
Yeah.
It's inside.
No, I'm saying yes. I mean,
Okay, Christina, you had a question about hours generally. So
Yeah, that's it. I would.
All right, so let's hear from Christine on hours generally. And we'll talk
Otherwise, the
about it.
poor musician, they need to earn money.
Christine, we will have jazz. I promise you,
I know.
in case we will, and we'll invite you.
I'm wondering about the hours on the roof. Outside, it says 2 a.m.
Yeah, look, you approved
And
this.
I'm saying, I don't think this is a great idea.
No, it's not.
We are okay with the music, right? We are okay with everything, but I think, the event, normally we ask for what, 11? Or 10?
10 and 11.
So 10 and 11, and here we are 2, so what is it in between that we can work with, right?
Well, look, let me first start a few points in response to that. First, let me start off with, remember, we're not writing on a blank slate here. This is an existing active liquor license, even though they're currently closed, active liquor license that's been in effect since 2009, which this community board approved for the rooftop.
I'm just talking about the outside, right?
You know, well, no, the outside too, approved with no stipulations. And so, I mean, and the operation that we're proposing for the rooftop is in line with what had been in operation, prior with additional, limitations, the one that you just heard. So that I just want to put that context on the table before we say anything else. We're not writing on a blank slate here. Second is, and I, not to keep going back to the Block Association, but you ask us to do outreach. The Block Association's opinions are typically, given weight. The people who stand to be most directly impacted by the continued operation of this roof did not have an objection to the operation at 2 a.m. We did outreach. There's no one. I mean, you haven't gone to the public yet, but I don't think there's anyone here in opposition to that. I don't think just on principle we should be asking us to commit to earlier than 2 a.m. When we've done the outreach, did the work, we met with the Block Association.
Okay.
And there's no
Max,
opposition.
let's stop for a second. Now let's see if Natalie, can you tell us if there's anyone here from the community about this, and let's hear from them if there is.
No, there's no one.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was never done, already?
Right.
Not at 2 a.m. outside, roof.
Well, it
That's
is.
what they have now.
It
Not
is,
a new
well,
roof.
now, it proceeded, there's no stip form, all there is a letter that talks about no outside promoters.
Right.
Only everything seated and no hours, so presumably,
There was no music.
they don't mention music. They mention outside promoters, security, traffic plan, and everybody seated. So those are the only steps we're aware
the treaties.
I mean, always.
of, and that goes back to 2007.
I don't think I would be concerned about this one. I would be concerned about the precedent here. You know what happened?
Yeah.
You listen and everybody say, oh, you did too.
You guys, you're
So-
sophisticated. You're sophisticated enough to draw those distinctions. I mean, you seriously.
No, you are.
No, you are. You are. And you this board. You understand how precedent works in each
No,
case.
no, but I'm just saying, this is.
How about like 1 and 2?
That's even like, say, 12 and
12.
No,
12 and 11, but
No, 12 and
12 and
No.
1?
1 and 2.
12 and 1, it's outside. We don't do that, we've never done that.
Well, not like any nonsense.
No.
Yeah, I'm
Not
okay
since-
with the hours the way they have them, just because I used to work right next door at CH48. And it's a boom, boom, boom,
Right.
you could hear it on the street. If that's not anybody's complaint about sound, I think there's not really too much residential in there, just maybe across the avenue. And this building is higher than the residential.
Yeah, I think the nearest big building is Gotham West, and that's pretty tall, that's at 40.
Isn't it night show on the other side? There was affordable buildings there on.
I mean, Gotham West
On
is
10
between
on
44.
10th Avenue, and just north of that, there is a huge complex of residential, and I remember at the beginning of all those things, when everybody would come out and they were complaining about it.
That's on, I think, 51st, I think. I think that's on 51st.
Right.
But this is on 11th Avenue, not 10th.
Is it?
This hotel is on 11th. Yeah.
Oh,
I would stay with the hours as first.
I mean, it's been existing like that. And
Okay, do we have, wait for a motion?
Well, wait, hours, anybody? Okay,
The majority seems to be okay with the hours, and the
Hours
Block
is proposed.
Association was okay with all
The
this.
Block Association is good,
okay, so this,
and we can always say, I think we are sophisticated enough. That this is not a precedent, this individual.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yes, I
Good
have,
luck, all the other guys are going to.
and we now have a response.
Right, we are sophisticated.
well, now also, at least at the moment, it's by itself over there. It's not like we're talking about the hotels in the 30s and 40s.
So the separation is like, it's very far away from everything.
Right.
Yes.
And it's not.
gonna know.
Okay, so the steps are, and again, this is only for the roof. Breakfast will only be served indoors, other than private events. All service will be to seated patrons by waiter service. For private events, after 9 p.m., the maximum size will be 50 guests. And those events will take place in the designated area on the southwest side of the terrace. Max is gonna send me the floor plans. For purposes of crowd and traffic control, there'll be one staff member per 30 guests after 9 p.m. stationed on street level. The DJ and live music will only be in the main dining room with all doors and windows closed when the DJ or live music is occurring. Background music only in the sunroom and outdoors, limited as described in the submitted sound report.
And fix the application when it says storm enclosure.
Well, I don't know, do they have one downstairs?
No, it makes no.
You don't have a storm enclosure, do you, Max?
No,
Makes
what,
no
did you say
sense.
we do?
Well, that's a sunroom. On the roof.
No.
I understand, yeah, I think we took that too literally, but we don't have the type of storm enclosure that
Okay.
No, I'm just
you're
kidding.
talking about.
I like that you agonize over our forms though.
We do, if you were a fly on the
That
wall
amplified
in our
sound
office.
question has driven us crazy.
Okay, so this is,
Okay, anybody have anything else here? Max, you and Gil, okay with all that?
That summary
Yes.
is accurate, yes, Gil?
that's for the rooftop.
Yes, thank you.
Item number 8. Do I hear a motion? Okay, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Who opposed? Okay. Abstaining, person not eligible. Item number 8.
Sorry, so there was 2 opposed, is that right?
2 opposed.
One rooftop too far.
57,
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone, have a good evening.
Okay,
What's
thank
left
you.
here? Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item number 9. 689 8th Avenue, JM Metro Service. His hours of operation, 12 p.m. to 4 a.m., 7 days a week. Okay, this is an adult entertainment menu, adult entertainment menu. Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. Rosa Ruiz, representative for the applicant. I have Robert Alvarado with me. This is a transfer application, no change to the method of operation. Same hours, same adult entertainment that's been there forever.
So what?
There's no
I'm
issues.
sorry,
We
what
reached
kind
out
of-
to everyone.
Wait, this is just a
Transfer,
change of operation?
No, it's a
transfer
Oh,
application.
transfer.
So is it gonna be run? What's changing? The ownership, the management?
The ownership
The
is
whole
changing.
thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
the ownership, the
Is it
new
gonna be
corporate
run in
name.
the same way?
Yes,
Same method of operation?
yes.
And we had a prior stip with the prior operator that said they won't use velvet ropes or similarly
Yep.
block or obstruct the sidewalk. You agree to
Same
that? 'Cause it's
thing.
Really crowded over there.
I know. I've gone over everything with him.
Okay. Questions, comments from committee members? Anybody out in the community there? No?
Motion to approve.
Oh, wait, that's.
Like, don't rush.
No, there's no one.
Okay, now we can. Second, and
Second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Person not eligible? Abstaining, okay.
Thank
Rosa.
you. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
What were you guys saying?
Number 10.
Number 10.
Okay.
Number 10.
I thought you were leaving, that's why I was confused.
Thanks for staying. Item number 10, 30 Hudson Yards.
Yes.
Okay, this is
They
a
know
catering
exactly what to
facility.
say.
Go ahead, guys.
All right, welcome.
Go ahead, welcome.
Or not.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your patience.
No, our pleasure.
Thank you for staying with us.
Yes.
Wonderful to meet you all.
We have our attorney, Elton Hoffman from EH Law. We also have on the line as well, Electra Sperling. She's our corporate counsel at Convene.
And also, Inga Sperling, she is also our contract manager and legal counsel. I am the vice president of operational excellence and procurement.
I am the area director of operations, Chris Lentz.
Sorry, I'm Alan. Don't
Yeah.
mention my name. We are a global premium hospitality company serving the way people meet, work and host inspiring meetings. So this is a corporate meetings and events space. We have 14 locations currently in Manhattan. This is our 15th location. It's going to be right down the block at 30 Hudson Yards, the 24th floor. What else would you like to know?
So which building, I once knew these numbers, but which building is 30? At Hudson Yards?
Right on the corner of 33rd and 10th.
Okay. And what else is in it?
It's more, well, our landlord is Warner Brothers Discovery. So they're in the building. There's other restaurants on the concourse level in the shopping center and stuff like that, but we're gonna be operating the 24th floor.
And what was on the 24th?
It was the same meetings and event space that was being operated by Warner Brothers Discovery in partnership with Restaurant Associates.
I get it, okay, and it's staying as a catering.
It is, yes. We're just doing the minor renovation and branding.
And no rooftop record.
No, no outdoor space, no open windows.
Okay.
Except if you
Live meetings?
No.
We won't have, so we're corporate meetings, so it's really Fortune 500 companies that are hosting private events. We have enhancement experiences that we add on and suggest, so it could be some form of live entertainment. We do like background music. But live entertainment might be a guitarist, a jazz duo, or something of that nature if they are hosting a reception afterwards.
I've been to one of these, they're like corporate conferences and.
Yeah.
It's a nice space, the other one.
You're just gonna go later, right? Because the previous steps were 6 PM and you're looking for 1.
Yeah, just for extra protection. Yeah.
Okay. Additional questions from me, comments?
What about a DJ?
Not usually, no.
Okay.
Okay, anybody from the community now?
No, there's no one.
Thank you, Nellie.
Okay, we have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second, okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Well, thanks
Thank you
for
for
thanks
hanging
for
out.
bringing out all the forces and coming in person, so.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right,
Okay.
thank you for sticking it out.
Last liquor license application here we have is number 11, 158th Avenue,
We're here this whole time.
Goku NYC
Thanks, man.
Incorporated.
I feel so bad.
Hours of operation 11:30 AM to 12 AM, Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 11 to 2 AM, Saturday and Sunday. Okay, is the applicant here or representative?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Hi, thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, no problem. Good evening, everyone.
So tell us something about your application.
Sure. So my name is Ginger Lau, and I am applying for a liquor license for the business Goku NYC Inc. So this is like a transfer of ownership over from my father, who has run the business for about approaching a decade now. So formerly Silom Thai Inc., a Thai restaurant. He's getting older, looking to transition out of the business, so I'm taking over and changing the concept, but there's no changes in the method of operations. So the hours of operation would be 11:30 to 12 AM, Monday through Friday, and 9 AM to 12 AM, not 1 or not 2. I don't know. It looks like it says 1.
It's hard for me to read it, right?
Yeah.
So it's 12 AM.
Yeah, 12 AM Saturday and
Midnight.
Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Midnight. Yeah. It'll be just a new concept. So ramen instead of Thai food. We'll only play background music, recorded music. Yeah. That's basically it.
Okay, any questions, comments from the committee? Now, I'm gonna ask you the same question I've been asking you for the last couple of.
Somebody has, yeah, that's.
Somebody does?
That's the
Yeah,
applicant.
that's the applicant.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put my hand down.
Anybody from the community now?
No, there's no one.
Same answer, thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
And a second is in there too, right? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? President not eligible? Okay, abstaining. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You two taking over from Dad. Okay, now we're moving to the DOT.
Christine. You may begin. No.
Right, first item is number 12, 144 West 19th Street, Glur.
So this is one that was visited by Alan and Inga, and did you go, Bert, too, or?
I couldn't.
Okay. And I guess we've got a couple of community concerns about emails about the original proposal, but I guess you guys worked something out, so maybe you can tell us what's happening.
We talked to them and they're literally, they originally, when they sent in their plan, they had 3 tables, but they were gonna put them out by the curb. Because there's no space in front of it, because there's the door, a little ramp, and then stairways that go down, so we talked to the. By the window, there was 1 table, but there was no room for 3 tables there. The sidewalk is normal size, but there's still no room for 3 tables, so we talked to the manager, and he said they were gonna send in revised drawings. And maybe put 2 much smaller, teeny weeny little tables there, more for a presence.
Yeah.
and
So
a-
Nellie, have we gotten anything?
Sorry, I was drinking something.
Did we get a revised
I
floor
would
plan?
like to also.
I hope, yeah.
Did we
There's
get a
so-
revised?
The server, my server is down in the office, so I was not able to relook at the packet that I received. So I'm not sure if what I have is what's supposed to be revised.
Well, is the packet what's in the folder, or did we get something newer?
It's what's in the folder.
Okay, so the folder
Not
still
there.
has the old plan. So actually, we should, I guess, see if the applicant's here.
Good evening, folks. This is Chad.
Hi
I'm
there.
from Blur. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Yes,
Hi, Ingrid and Alan. Right? We talked about the plan. Yes, of course. We revised it, and I think we submitted, but maybe if it didn't go through, we have to resubmit it again. My apologies, because we redraw the table like you recommend. So we're gonna put a few table against the window, and then we're gonna put partition due to the nature of the sidewalk and the FDNY. So we're gonna make the table smaller, so to fit at least two tables.
But looking at the drawing and the photo of the building, can you actually fit 2 tables there?
They're
Small.
tiny little, like,
Yes.
tiny and smaller chairs
And they'll both be against the window?
against the window,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes.
And there's
correct.
no need for a service aisle because
Yeah.
you walk up the door and it's.
Okay,
There's
so
no-
there'll only be, so it'll be 2 tables and 4 chairs.
Yes,
too
sir.
small.
Correct.
Very
Yep.
small tables, yeah.
Okay.
So are they going to remove all this furniture from the,
Everything in front there, the A sign and.
Yeah, we told them.
and the tables and the plants,
The
etc.?
plant, yes, the reason they had the plant out there is because they had originally had their tables pushed out to
No,
the
I get
street.
it, right.
Because, they moved the plant away because people were walking by while people were sitting at the tables and letting their dogs pee on the plant while people were sitting there.
But anyway, they need to have.
So we
remove all
talked to them
the-
about all of that.
And they are removing the roadway?
Well, why don't we talk to the applicant?
The roadway's gone already.
Okay.
It's already gone. The
Okay.
plant is gonna go and the ACE frame is gonna go.
So please resubmit the new drawing showing the small tables.
And where do we memorialize that those things where they say they are removing stuff?
Well, we have a stip form.
Okay,
They do, yeah.
we should put it in. right?
Yeah. But let's make sure we're clear.
Right.
So, to the applicant, so you'll remove everything from the sidewalk besides these 2 tables and 4 chairs, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
And there'll be nothing, no tables and chairs on the curb side of the sidewalk.
Correct. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay, it'd be 2 tables and with 4 chairs,
Tiny.
tidy, and they'll be against, the facade of your premises, right? Against the window of your store,
It won't come out more than 3 feet.
is that right? Oh,
Yes, sir. And
okay, and,
sorry,
and
sir.
they can't extend beyond the frontage of your building. They can only be in front of your building.
Yes, sir. Notice
Okay.
that.
And then on the STIP form you filled out, I think you filled out an extra page, you don't need to. You filled out the page about Department of Trans sidewalk dining, but you also did the rooftop rear yard, but you only have the sidewalk, correct?
I'm sorry, I got bad reception.
The
What did you say,
only
sir?
outdoor seating you're gonna have are these 2 tables and 4 chairs.
That's correct, yes, sir. That's only
Okay,
two,
you'll send them, and please resend the new floor plan tomorrow if you could.
Yes, sir. And so for the drawing, do I have to resubmit the DOT paperwork and then redraw everything?
No, this is the way it works is you send it to us, and in our comments to the DOT, we will say, you know, we talked with you, we agreed that you were gonna cut it down, and here's a revised plan, and we'll send that to you to sign, and then we will send it to the DOT.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We will do that.
Okay, but we need to get this to the DOT by Friday of this week, so we need to get that from you tomorrow if we could.
Yes, sir. I'll do that. And also, because according to the recommendation, do we still need the petition to separate the walkway and then the restaurant? Because according to Ingrid and Alan, they recommend us to put partition. So there's no more partition.
Yeah, you have to do that. That's not our requirement. That's a DOT requirement.
Yes, sir.
You
Okay,
need,
no problem.
you need to separate the sidewalk cafe area.
Basically, will be 2 tables, 4 chairs, and then the partition. Is that correct, sir?
And what?
And partition.
And the petition, yeah. But again, all of that has to be
Within 3
within
feet.
3 feet of the building.
We have
Yes,
an
sir.
additional
Absolutely.
question from a committee member here.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, could you tell us the size of the tables you're going to put in?
Oh, yes, the size of the table, I believe that the size of the table right now is 20 by 20. So we're gonna reduce that by, hopefully by 12, because that's gonna be like half a size. So that's gonna be about 12 by 12, 2 table.
What?
12 by 12.
12 by 12, tiny.
That's
Yeah.
But this is what, a coffee place?
Yeah.
It's more just to be seen.
Yeah, look, I can put a piece of paper on it.
Okay.
Okay, we should
That's just,
check.
this is what you should write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12 by
So-
12.
That's fine.
We might have to customize the table size, yep, maybe like 14 to 12 to 14, sir.
Well, why don't we say no bigger than 14 by 14, okay?
Right, and he agreed it wouldn't stick out more than 3 feet total.
Correct.
With
Absolutely.
barrier,
Absolutely, yep.
so will not protrude further into the
I just
sidewalk.
want to.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Well, wait, we haven't, there may be community people there, because we did get some.
Now, is there anybody from the community?
Got it.
There's no one.
Okay, thank you. Now can I hear a motion?
Motion.
And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Someone's raising their hand. I don't know if it's really.
Too late.
Yeah.
Cold.
Okay. Do you wanna?
Yeah, so, I looked at, I visited all 3 of the Hell's Kitchen, sidewalk and roadway dinings are all represented actually by the, same attorney.
We're talking items 13, 14, 15, 17, and 18.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it in the right order, but yes, and Mike Kelly's represented them all. We discussed, a lot of detail. So Mike, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so, Dalton's, which is on 9th Avenue between 43rd and 44th. What they have put on their plan, submitted is fine. It meets all the requirements of things. The issue that Mike and I have discussed is their current sidewalk layout is quite different. it's a foot or two bigger, I mean, a foot or two extensive on the sidewalk, a foot or two more. And it also has barrels instead of the tables that are shown here. So Mike, I think you're gonna check with your client, are they going to the traditional tables on the floor plan?
Yes. The
Okay.
tables on the floor plans will be the traditional ones. The barrels will be gone.
Okay, and they understand that, and this is important, for everybody, once they get approved by DOT, you know, they have to change to what's on these submitted plans. I mean, it's sort of a new world. There's nothing that's grandfathered. There are requirements that are, you know, helpful to them and ones that, you know, they may not like, but, those are the rules now. Correct?
Yes, they understand.
Okay, and on the STIP form, I take it, these are the way they've been operating all along? The STIP form you filled out?
I got lost.
Correct? Okay, and you're closing the sidewalk by 10 and 11 as we've asked, right?
Is that a yes?
Mike, did we freeze up? It looks like Mike may have frozen.
No, he's low.
Hey, I'm Sean on behalf of Dalton's. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Yes.
You're okay in closing the sidewalk tables at 10 on weekdays and 11 on Friday and Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Removing the.
Yeah, and you gotta change from the barrels to regular tables.
Yes, Mike has mentioned that. That's no problem. Absolutely.
Okay, great, thanks.
Good. I do see now we have somebody has their hand raised.
That was me, sir.
Oh, that's you, okay. That's why the names were different.
So we're good for Dalton's, right?
Okay.
Yeah, unless anyone else says anything.
Vote.
Okay.
Motion.
And item
I'm
number
back.
13,
Next 13. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Add fees.
let's go.
Okay, you gotta hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Michael.
they froze.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
They're frozen there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
You're
you're
back,
back.
you're
Okay.
back, Mike.
I'm back.
Okay, hold on for 1 sec. Okay, so Alfie's, where is it, Mike? It's 9th Avenue and what are the cross streets?
And 53rd Street?
Okay, so, this is on the corner, it's on the, northeast corner. And what they are asking for is roadway dining on 53rd Street, but no sidewalk dining because it just doesn't fit. And they would like sidewalk dining, on 9th Avenue. Again, the submitted plans are fine, but they are significantly smaller on the sidewalk side than what is currently there. So we will, again, as I just said, Mike will expect their commitment, you know, when they're approved to stick to the new plans.
Yes.
Okay, and you're okay with our closing hours outside at 10 and 11?
Yes.
I would say something.
That's them, Mary.
Somebody in the darkness.
Somebody in the street.
He said,
No, that's Sean, he's the previous guy. Sean is the Dalton's guy,
adult, so.
yeah.
Oh, here.
Tour the neighborhood? Yeah. Okay, all right, Mike, so basically we're okay with
Both.
what you submitted to us as long as they stick with us. Oh, and by the way, they reduced the roadway dining because the original proposal didn't have space for any kind of service aisle.
Oh, so they reduced that.
Yeah, they put in, there's a new floor plan,
So we're going to get it, right?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
It only came in over the weekend. And Mike, your new, actually, your numbers are still the old numbers on the STIP plan, right?
Frank, we lost Michael Kelly again.
Okay. Well, looks like we have someone from the community. Let's hear from.
That's the applicant.
Oh. No, that's someone else. That's Robert Paul.
Yeah, but he's using.
Okay.
No.
Oh, no, Sean.
It's Sean.
Sean is the one on this, yeah.
What?
Sean?
On that?
Right, sorry. Can you be quiet?
Yeah, I'm from Alfie.
Okay, hi there.
How you doing?
Back again.
Okay, we just heard from, does your client, okay, can everybody be quiet? Does your client want to speak, Mike?
I do not believe so.
Well, he's here.
No, I just, Mike, I have one question. Is all the closing hours the same for every outdoor dining, 10 and 11, or is it different places have different closing hours?
No.
Community Board 4 has a 10 and 11 closing hour for
So
everybody.
that's everybody in that district is the same closing hours?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mike, I think the numbers on the STIP form for the roadway are the old numbers, not the new. I think you only have 7 tables now and 14 seats, is that right?
2, 4. Yes, that's correct. We
Okay,
took
so I'm gonna
the
change
2
those.
tables out.
Yes, I'm gonna change those numbers. Other than that, think we're okay. Anyone from the community, Nelly?
No, there's no one.
Thank you. So we have items 14 and 15. Do I hear a motion?
Oh, and yeah, just to be clear, we're also voting on the SLA liquor license
Right.
alteration when it comes along at some point in the future. So as long as they don't change any of the STIPs or the method of operation, they won't have to come back. Our vote on the liquor license alteration will cover that.
Okay, so let's hear a motion for both 14 and 15.
Motion.
And a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Oh, sorry, Mike. Mike, you
Yes.
still here?
I am.
Okay, so I forgot, we did have some concerns expressed from a community member, which is, that Alfie's, and they sent us photos, Alfie sometimes rearranges the tables to accommodate large groups, and the large groups get loud. So again, they're not supposed to be changing the layout. I think we'd like a STIP that says they'll
adhere to,
adhere to the floor plans on the submitted, the arrangements on the seated site plans.
But if it's only, I mean, just to push back on it a little, like, if we're saying they close at 10 or 11, like, you can never go out with a large group instead of 10.
No, if it's really loud, that's all.
I mean, technically, Mike, you're not supposed to be changing the floor plans anyway, right?
Hold on, that answers the question.
No, we're not.
Okay.
They have to stay the same.
because the concern was that every once in a while, a large group would come and they throw out some additional chairs.
Well, or combine them.
You're not supposed to rearrange.
Yeah, I don't think,
Right.
we're not gonna have, we're not gonna have many tables on the sidewalk in the future. It's not gonna be like it is now.
Inside.
Okay.
They're not supposed
I
to.
want to be clear on that.
And then the other, I guess, is that this neighbor says he's been keeping the windows open until midnight every night. And again, they had previously agreed to our prior STIP that they'd be closed at 10 and 11 or whenever there's amplified sound inside. So just to remind you guys of that. And that is, again, to answer your client's question, that's something we ask about everyone, and we've really been trying to enforce it with everybody because it's become less of a problem with cold weather, but it's a huge problem on 9th Avenue.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
Can I just chime in there for a second? I understand whatever the rules are, we will abide by the rules. Sometimes we have a table of 4 outside, and tell you it's going to be 4 people. 5 comes to grab a chair And this neighbor that's complaining, this is a disgruntled neighbor that's been complaining about it. We're there 13 years. It's the same guy all the time. We don't have any problems with any other neighbors. We're a family-run business, predominantly food, and it's just one guy in the neighborhood that goes to every.
But if your application says 4 tables, that's what it is, 4 tables.
Yes, 100%.
You can't add a 5th table, even if it's only an hour. It's 4 tables.
All right, but now again, we're just passing on what we've heard, so it sounds like you're aware of the issue, so if, you know, you can try to.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, but I mean, as your lawyer will tell you, the law is actually, you know, what you submit is actually the formal agreement with the Department of Transportation and
And
it's.
SLA.
And the SLA, and it's how the tables and chairs are supposed to stay. So
Exactly.
that's not our requirement, that's the way the system works,
Yeah.
okay?
But it wasn't just the table.
Okay.
There was multiple things this guy had a problem with. You know, we removed outdoor speakers, we've done everything we could to do the right thing, and he's just still not.
Okay, and we appreciate that.
Okay.
But, thank you, and, well, why don't we do this, give Mike a break. And let me catch up with the paperwork.
Item number 16, 151 8th Avenue, Shaftesbury.
That's the one I almost went to, right?
Okay, is the applicant here? Item 16.
So they were here, I think, last month or 2 months
3
ago.
tables, 6 seats.
Yeah,
We did find that there was no room service lane.
so did you go look at the shower?
Well, the table and chairs take up the whole.
I'm here. This is Schaefer. I'm here, sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, hold on, Justice, we have somebody from the committee. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, you need a service, we have to rearrange the table, you won't get small tables or less tables.
For that space.
So-
Wait, sorry, one at a time, everybody.
One at a time, Ava, please.
Okay, sorry, Alan.
The table and chairs takes up 5 feet approximately, they have 10 feet for pedestrian path. There's no obstructions in there. But depending on
No
what you do with the
Right.
the tables and chairs.
Okay, so the issue we're hearing is that, you know, you have to keep 10 feet of the sidewalk completely clear, right?
Right.
Okay, so that means your tables and chairs and all service have to be done within the 5 feet of your sidewalk cafe. And you're gonna have to have a barrier there that separates your 5 feet from the 10 feet of the pedestrian clear path.
Yes.
And there is a service. on it.
Okay, so the question is, how are you gonna serve those tables from within the 5 feet?
I thought 8th Avenue is 8 feet, 14th Street is 10 feet. There's certain areas at 8. I submitted my plans and have gone back and forth with them over and over again. I don't, you know, that our sidewalk is, I think it's, let me just grab my plans.
Well, on your form, you checked off that you need a 10-foot clear path. What's
It's a regional corridor, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Regional corridor is 10 feet.
It's 10 feet. right?
9th, 10th, 23rd, 34th, 57, et
Yeah.
cetera. That's a regional
So 10,
corridor is
right.
10 feet. Others are 8 feet.
Right, so our understanding is that it's 10 feet, which is what you put on your form as well.
Correct. There's 10 feet there, and then we have
5 feet.
18 feet. It's a the total walkway from our storefront to the curb should be 18 feet.
Well, your diagram says 15 feet, that's what's confusing us.
And Alan said
Is it 18?
From the storefront to where the stand is, it's 5 feet.
Right,
And then you got 10 feet into the
Right.
curb.
so it's 15 feet. Sorry.
So Sarah, our understanding is it's 15 feet, which are the numbers on the floor plan you sent to DOT as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I went back and forth a few times. I'm looking at a
Yeah.
few sheets. I see. We went back and forth at the DOT a few times.
So the question is still
So we have the
outstanding.
3 tables. They'll be sideways. The setup on there, I'm gonna have to just change the chairs the other way.
Okay.
For the
And
3
Alan,
tables.
can you fit 3 tables sideways?
Our storefront is 20 feet across.
Yeah, I think you can do it. I can see it.
It looks like it could.
Looks like you can.
Okay, so you have to do a rearrangement.
Yeah, can you send us a new floor plan?
So the chairs would be aligned with the curve, right?
The building.
Correct.
Right, right, yeah. You could.
No, December, we have plenty of time. Can you send us a floor plan by the end of the week that just pivots
The new
those
floor
tables and chairs?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Alan?
Get crazy now, no diagonals.
Okay, motion?
Well, community?
Oh, God. Now, anybody from the community?
No, there's no one.
Thank you for checking.
Thank you, Nelly.
Motion?
I hope Nelly's drinking a
I think
martini
that is
right
the
now.
time.
Okay.
All those in favor? I think we got it. Okay, that was item 16. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is back to Mike Kelly and me. This is another 9th Avenue place between 57th and 58th. That wants both roadway and sidewalk seating. The roadway, I believe, let me just check, is fine. Yeah, so the roadway is fine, complies with all the rules. As you'll see from the photos they submitted, their sidewalk has a pile of permanent obstacles and then some of their own doing. But the permanent obstacles really restrict the sidewalk cafe. They had initially, in their DOT submission, they asked for only 2 tables with a total of 4 seats. And my measurements show they actually couldn't even fit 2. So they've reduced it to, 1 table with 2 seats. I think they fit. I am sort of concerned that it's blocking, it's blocking 9th Avenue traffic flow without a lot of benefit to the operator, but I just throw that out for committee consideration because they do comply with all the 1 table does comply with the distance measure, the distance requirement.
Okay, we have Tina?
Sorry, but I live right there. It is so difficult to walk that aisle.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's awful. It's awful. So the minimum should be given. Because you literally, you can't walk 2 people next to each other.
Yeah, no, I was.
And also the tree pit is not even on the application, which leaves you less than 4 feet.
No, it's after, the tree pit is later.
No, it's flush with.
Oh, yeah, but
But
this
if they're
is-
1 table, yeah, you have to zigzag.
the proposal is 2 tables at the end of the thing.
Yeah,
but
they're
there's
just
no-
squeezing in 1 table at the north end.
I don't think I have that one.
Still doesn't work. You have to scroll.
It's awful.
Right, so who is do we have the applicant there?
Yeah, Mike, is your client on?
No, he's not.
Is there 2 rows?
He's not,
1
but we,
row, 2?
and we did have a full sidewalk
Wait,
cafe
wait,
there.
Wait, hold on, please.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Mike. No, you go ahead, Mike. Mike, go ahead.
So he did have a full sidewalk cafe there before. So he was putting the 2 out just to get a little exposure. So we did drop it down to 1 table. We're gonna be taking up basically 23 inches of the sidewalk. And we do make the clearances. We're over 10 feet from all the obstacles. So that leaves 10 feet of pedestrian walkway. But even if there was somebody with 15 feet and they were using 5, they'd still leave the 10 feet. So we are still leaving 10 feet all the way. And where many of the obstacles are, if you're facing the building to the left, there's nothing there at all. No tables or chairs.
Yeah, I think the problem, which is what you heard, is if you see where the tree pit is. The clear path zigzags. I mean, you've gotta walk to the west to avoid the tree pit. And then you've gotta head to the east to avoid your one table. It is really congested there.
Yeah, he spent a lot of money just for this one table. Yeah.
So I have a question, Mike. This is, first of all this nonsense on the sidewalk, is that going to be removed?
The curbside
Not that we
stuff.
know of. Hopefully the
No,
light
your
post.
stuff, the planters.
Oh, yes,
photos?
yes.
The planters and the,
When is that going to be removed?
We'll
Like
start moving it
tomorrow?
out tomorrow if he hasn't started already. They told him to start working on
Tomorrow.
that.
Okay,
Yes.
I can check on that.
and then,
and then the other thing, which we didn't talk about, Mike, is this awning.
yeah, I was going to talk about.
Is that gonna come down? Because it has
Yes.
these, it is.
When is that?
Yes, I
when is
already
that
talked to him
coming
about that.
down? When is that coming down?
I think he's got somebody coming in next week to remove it.
Okay, all right. And then finally, there's a storm. No.
No, seriously.
There is?
There
No.
is.
I hope
No.
Okay,
right, and then the places where you have the proposed table is just facing a bicycle rack, which once you put one or two bikes there, it's blocking the sides. So I know that in the book, it's okay, but in reality, it's not.
Well, when we have the 10 feet from the bike rack, you'll see there's about almost 2 more feet. I don't know if the bike's gonna come out that far.
This table is ridiculous.
The one that's.
This table by itself is ridiculous.
It is not.
Tell your client that this just makes no sense. This is just, you know, it's an obstruction. It's not a cafe.
I spoke to him about it. I spoke to him about the 2 tables. It was hard enough to get him to cut that in half because he used to have many more tables out there. He used to have a full sidewalk cafe.
Yeah, but
But in those days, he didn't have roadways.
Yeah, we didn't.
in the old days.
right. So how many net gain he has a lot more.
I mean, Mike, and you and I talked about this. I think, I can't imagine
Yeah.
who's gonna wanna sit by themselves at this table being brushed by pedestrians all night.
Where the dogs are also walking.
Right.
Anyway.
And I do think, as you heard from someone who lives right there, it's a major community annoyance. And I appreciate that you may not be able to do anything with us, but could you talk to him again and tell him he heard this from multiple people on the committee?
And especially because he's going to pay for it.
I will.
And
Yeah, he's gonna have to pay for it.
he's going to have to pay for this license, which is.
Judging from the amount of square footage, he's not gonna pay much compared to what he's paid for already. He's
Still.
paid $1,050 for the license, architect fees. But he may find it ridiculous in the future to have that one table out and remove it on his own.
All right.
Okay, but let me see what the deadline is for the sidewalk.
and Mike, you might also say to him that the sense of the committee, if it were to go to a vote, would probably not include a table. Would not approve it.
So
My
are
sense.
we
We
going
haven't
to,
taken a vote.
are we going to have to approve an SLA application for that single table?
Yeah, you're gonna have to alter he's gonna have to alter it for the roadway too.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of silly, right?
Anyway,
Well, wait, so
what's the deadline?
let's do this separately. So the road, Nellie, is there anyone from the community here?
For either one.
No,
Thank you, Nellie.
Thank you, Nelly.
Okay, so do we have a motion on the roadway as submitted?
Yes,
All those in favor of the roadway,
okay.
opposed, okay.
Okay, now
Item number
the
7.
sidewalk, which again has been reduced to
1.
1 table with 2 seats.
Well, if
I
we
think that's-
oppose, I want to raise, if we oppose and then he doesn't want to yield, it's going to go to the council and then one table, which looks really silly.
Yeah, we'll look silly.
Yeah.
Let's just.
And we're gonna have to go because by opposing, we trigger a mandatory hearing before DOT.
Just give him his table, he's gonna
Well,
find
let's
out.
hear from Tina, who's most directly impacted.
Well, but a lot of things are going to be gone, right, Tina? We have
Well,
taken.
no,
99% of your problem is gone.
like the supports of the canopy are gonna be gone.
Or beams.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
And all the furniture is going to be gone.
Right, so it's just gonna be one table.
Everything will be gone.
Hugging the building.
Yeah.
One table. and-
One table, two chairs, and a little barrier next to the table.
Right.
It's
Something
definitely
ridiculous.
So there has to be, and there is, because I measured, 10 feet, it's opposite the bike rack.
Right.
And without bikes, which is unfortunately how you have to measure, there is 10 feet between this one table
Okay.
and the bike rack.
Okay.
They do have a storm enclosure though, that's like 3 feet.
Are we
What
saying
is
that
the-
my,
what about the storm enclosure? What
There's,
is
they
it?
have a storm enclosure that projects, that's like
Beyond
3
the
feet.
canopy.
It does.
I don't see it. So,
Hey,
Michael, what are we doing about the storm enclosure?
It's the size of my apartment.
Right, I mean, you could put a table inside the enclosure. Just, no, but I mean, is he going to take down the enclosure?
Storm enclosure should be down. Cause he actually talked to me
When you say should.
and said he was putting it up,
Oh.
and she's
no.
only-
No, but I mean. it
No,
needs-
wait, we didn't hear what he said. What did you say?
Like,
so he told me he put a storm enclosure up. I asked him how big it was. And I told him he can have 18 inches. He said it was much bigger than 18 inches, so he supposedly, hopefully he got it down by yesterday.
Okay, so we can add a stip that says it'll only be 18 inches,
Yeah,
right?
tonight.
Yes.
Okay,
if you want to?
Unbelievable.
okay, so with the stips that say the awning is gonna be removed, the awning and the post, the whole thing will be removed, right, Mike?
Yes.
And all of the obstructions that the applicant's responsible for, the planters and all those will be removed. And the storm enclosure will extend no more than 18 inches,
And one
Yeah.
table.
and one table with 2 seats.
Yes.
Motion.
So
Okay,
my sense was wrong, Mike, it's gonna pass,
right,
okay.
but we would still urge it as a community spirited gesture to reconsider the one table.
Okay, I'll talk
Okay.
to him again.
Okay,
Yeah.
all those in favor,
Done.
opposed,
Aye.
and we're only 4 minutes to 10 o'clock.
He's fine.
All right.
I'd like a motion.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Sally? Are we gonna get a copy, before we adjourn, can we get a copy of the roadway things that are supposed to be gone?
Oh, we have a list of the road.
Oh, no, wait, Nellie, did you stop the recording? Okay,
Okay.
Frankie just need to make sure that the committee gets it.
yeah, I think Nellie's been trying to annotate it.
Oh.
Hold on one second.
Yes, what you're going to get is the list of the road.
Well, wait,
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
so as I understand it, all the roadways have to be gone now.
Down, September 1st.
All the roadways.
No, November 20th.
Was it on?